What is up, y'all? It is Mike and Phil repping combat sports today. We just had an absolute banger of a card, UFC 317. We're about to go through all the matchups, give our recap and reaction to this amazing card, and potentially do a little matchmaking ourselves. You already know. If you're here, like, subscribe, share it to your friends, follow us on all platforms. We got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the best news, all the best things, combat sports. How are you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing good. I don't know. Your voice is pretty low. Maybe you got to turn up your settings. I don't know. Maybe it's mine. There we go. Can you say something?
Yo, yo.
That's close enough. But yeah,
Let's
man.
get it.
I had an adventurous night for the pay-per-view card last night. So I had the homies, right? We were like, "Yo, let's go watch the card for the pay-per-view." We ended up going to fucking 3 different bars. One was 2 packed, and then we go to a sports bar, right? This is the craziest thing of the whole night for me. Tell me why you can't go into the sports bar wearing a jersey.
Oh, that's a gang area. That's a gang bar. That's how it was. There's a couple bars right where I live, and if you wear a certain colored T-shirt, you wear a certain sports hat, they're just like, no, you can't come in with that. And it's like, come on, bro. It ain't even that serious.
Dude, I was disgusted.
Do you think that's why? Did they tell you that? They're like, we don't want anyone getting into a fight.
Who knows, bro? It was in the white area, so I don't know.
Maybe they're like, no, no opposing sports teams here.
I don't know why your volume's so loud on my side.
Is loud.
No, it's low.
Oh, Knuckles, can you hear me?
It doesn't sound loud. Knuckles, say something, please. Phil unknowingly went to a gang area. I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's
man.
what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
the area that I went to. I mean, I'm from the area, so I'm like, it's not really gang affiliated in that certain area.
Maybe they could have had a incident there. Like, there's a spot where we used to go, and they'd be like, if you pull up in a white T-shirt, they'd be like, nah, you can't come in. It's like, what?
Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to fix your volume right now. I
Knuckles
just have
says we both sound golden.
maybe you bring the mic closer to you.
He said Knuckles says you both sound golden.
It's just my mic. It just sounds you sound far away for some reason.
Hello, hello, hello. I got a fucking pimple in the middle of my eyebrow.
I can't. What up, Biggie? I can't get into some places because I have a neck tattoo and hand tattoo. See, if everybody knows what Biggie looks like, he looks like a big cholo, the Mexican cholo.
Mike is
Mike
actually
actually
louder than
louder than
Phil.
Phil. Hmm. I mean, you're not the. It's not bad that I can't hear you. I mean, I can still hear you. It just sounds a little distant, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm gonna try to enunciate, speak properly. I'm super excited to break down the card as well. Off rip, I mean, to me, it started off like a fucking banger. I was with the homies. I didn't sleep very much. Uh, I had to work this morning, but it was absolutely worth it. It was an incredible card.
Yeah, I thought it was a good card top to bottom, especially with the opening of the heavyweight fight. And I thought this heavyweight fight is going to deliver, especially with Alvin Guzzi Hind making his UFC debut on, I think it was 18 days notice against Jonathan Denise. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I was sweating that freaking fight because I actually put a bet in. It was like plus 3,000 for Alvin Guzzi Hines to get a finish in the third round. I'm
Whew,
telling you.
that
I'm
was a good
telling
bet.
you. If that eye poke didn't happen, I probably would have fucking got that money. I put like $20 on it, and I think the payout was like $600.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a good bet. I mean, for how it was looking, he was looking fresh. In the third round, he was tough as nails. The thing that I like the most about that fight, Alvin Guzzi Hines, he started with the right energy for the night. Because I'm like, oh, we got this guy coming in on short notice. It's his debut. He's 7-0. And he wanted to be there all week, during the fight week, even in the cage when they're announcing his name, the camera's on him, he's smiling.
Dude, he was
He's like,
smiling the
yeah,
whole time he was there.
yeah, after round one, he had two black eyes. He's putting his hands up. He's smiling. I was like, this guy's awesome, bro. He wants to be here so bad. And I think, even in a loss, He put up a gutsy effort, and I think his stock certainly rose. He stood with a high level kickboxer. He has 3 round cardio. I really like Alvin Hines, and what I saw from him, he's definitely could potentially start becoming a fan favorite if he wins some fights here soon.
It was funny too because like when you watch Alvin Guzzi Hines, dude, that dude, you can never count that dude out. He may look gassed out, he may be taking a lot of damage, but I think he has a lot of heart for a heavyweight, and like he'll take a hit and then he'll give a couple back too. So and that's why I felt so confident taking him in the third round because I just thought, hey, Jonathan Denise might gas out, and he did start to fade like towards like the end of the second round. Even the commentators were calling him out for it, and like, yo, they're like, Guzzi's still there, like he's eating shots and he's walking forward. But
Yeah, he has a chin, dude. He was durable. I was actually pretty surprised. Like some of the shots that Denise landed on him, you would think would have put out a decent amount of guys. There was a couple shots where it was like, ooh, and he just kept moving.
and honestly, if Guzzi just stepped in a little bit more with his shots, dude, I think he could have cracked Denise a lot more. I felt like he was just a little bit short, like maybe just taking one more step in, especially he was throwing a lot of hooks. Like I just felt like he would just clip on the outside of his arms when he had his arms up like this. I'm like, oh, Guzzi just got to step in a little bit, push him against the fence. You know what I mean? I feel like once I have a bet on somebody, I'm like I become a coach when I'm watching them. It's like, dude, what you gotta, this is what you gotta do, bro. Step in, step in.
I'd be like
It's,
moving with him.
you know what I mean? Yo, go uppercut. What are you doing? And
Yeah,
this and
man.
that. But I'm impressed with Guzzi despite the loss. I thought his stock rose still. He's still a fun fighter. It wasn't I mean, yeah, it was a little sloppy, but like it was a fun sloppy heavyweight banger. We may not get first round knockouts anymore, second round, whatever, but at least give us a good scrap, and that made me happy to see. So good win for Denise. Props to him for taking him on short notice. Props to Guzzi taking on short notice, but I hope I see Guzzi on another card, not an Apex card, to be honest. I think he really shows up and can entertain for the crowd.
Yeah, he was great. Biggie says they were talking about Guzzi's criminal background. Weird what they chose to bring up. Yeah, they always have their own agenda. The commentators are going to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Even Joe Rogan at the end of, and this is not how I was seeing it. At the end of round one, Joe Rogan was talking about Alvin Hines looks like he's fading. He looks like he's fading hard. And then, of course, by a minute into round three, he's like, Alvin Hines looks like the fresher fighter. He never looked like he was fading. And the commentators have been annoying me more than usual this last year, but it was a solid first fight to start, especially a short notice heavyweight bout to not be an absolutely sloppy snoozer. It was a fun fight, a lot of energy to start the card, so I was happy with it.
Same. Shout out to Knuckles and Square of Bench Burner MMA, or not Bench Burner MMA, Bench Burner Sports. But yeah, I love when Knuckles and Square put a little breakdown for us. So go subscribe to their channel.
Oh, that's a good
Uh,
one.
the next fight was Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Mike, in your stream, the one you did with Nick, you were like, "This guy's a future UFC champion," and so in the back of my head, I was like, that was like ringing in the back of my head, hearing your voice saying that in my head when they were fighting. And as I'm watching them fight, I was like, I don't know if this is Mike what he's talking about. There was some times that Nico had some good moments in there, and I felt like Jacoby could have finished him a lot earlier, to be honest. But either way, he was the biggest favorite in UFC history. I think he was a minus 2,500, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
To me, he didn't look like a minus 2,500. This definitely flashes of it, but he's gonna need some more fights before he get those lines again, in my opinion. But his finish for the rear naked choke, fucking beautiful, man. The way he
yeah.
just jumped on his back, took that neck, and just tapped him out immediately. I love it. 11-0. He has a bright future.
Yeah, he's certainly going to learn from the experience. Nico Price. I was telling my buddy he doesn't watch UFC as much as I do, and I was like, Nico Price is probably going to go out there and get smoked, but at the same time, he has some pretty crazy come from behind wins. He has up kick knockouts, wild submissions. He's a decent test, and he did a lot better than I was expecting. I'm happy he didn't get like brutalized too bad. I like Nico Price a lot. Jacoby Smith, we'll learn from this fight. Maybe keep a little, like, pull a little back on some of his punches. He was throwing with, he's trying to take his head off, and it looked like he got himself a little bit tired. I don't think he has a cardio issue. I think he was just using his energy poorly, and he thought it was just going to be, I'm going to hit him 3 times, it's going to be over. And when that didn't happen, I think he um, maybe got a little bit gassed. But dude, for the CST Mike and Delinquent play of the week, bro, this motherfucker has all knockouts. Tell me why, right when the fight started, I was like, bro, he's about to get his first career submission. I just know it, bro. He's about to cook the play. Of course, knockout minus 265, first leg of the parlay, cooked first career submission for Jacoby Smith. I like that he's showing the ability to
Be versatile, be good
yeah,
everywhere.
exactly. So I liked what I saw. I'm sure he'll learn from that, how to conserve energy better, picking his shots better instead of just winging bombs. I think if he cleans up and, with experience, he could potentially be in the upper echelon of welterweight within the next 2 years.
Yeah, I say get a couple more wins in. He does look good. He's exciting, explosive. But yeah, a couple more fights like with Nico Price wouldn't really sell me on it. If he just cleans up, and really, that's really about it. I could see him being definitely a contender in the future. But that's all I got to say, man. If you're that much of a favorite, you better finish the guy, and at least he did, you know?
Yeah, he looked more like a minus 500.
Yeah, he looked more like that. Jonathan Denise was minus 500, and I thought he looked like a minus 180 to like 200 around there at
Yeah.
some points, but it was closer than that. Yeah, let's move to the next fight. Um, Terrence McKinney and Slavakos. Yeah, every time T-Rack shows up, win or lose, killed or be killed, he shows up. And he got a submission. He locked in that guillotine real quick. Was it a guillotine or anaconda, right?
Anaconda or Doris, it looked like.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the submissions, but it was one of those. But yeah, it was funny. My boy was like, "Yo, Terrence McKinney under 1.5 rounds." I was like, "Dude, that's a lock." And then he texted me, "Hey, did Terrence McKinney fight yet?" He goes, "Yeah." Did he win? Yeah. Did it hit under 1.5 rounds? I said, "Yeah, but it wasn't under 1.5 rounds." He's like, "What do you mean? It was under 1.5 minutes."
Like
And
shit,
he
dude.
was so gassed, bro. He hit a massive parlay, bro. Shout out to him, bro. I think he hit like a 7 pick parlay, something cheap. You know what I mean? When you throw one for fun.
Yeah, hell
Yeah,
yeah, dude. Terrence McKinney looked good, and me and Nick on our video earlier in the week, we had a real good turnout. We went 9-2 on our picks. We picked Terrence McKinney by sub. Terrence McKinney round one. Me and Delinquent were talking about it right before the fight. Hammer sub, hammer round one, plus 150 for round one, plus 335 for sub. McKinney went out there, made it sweat free. Instantly got the fight to the ground. Instantly found the neck. As long as Terrence McKinney is healthy and able to fight, he will remain on the UFC roster. He is killer be killed, all entertainment, all gas, no breaks. And guys like Dana White absolutely love to have Terrence McKinney around because it's always a fun fight when he's involved.
dude, he's like one of those guys. Like you put on your parlay, he's gonna definitely live up to the parlay piece, in my opinion. If this is under 1.5, it doesn't matter if he's winning. He's a guy I don't put money line on because you never know what he's gonna do. But you definitely put that under always on Terrence McKinney. At this point, I might just put the fight for Terrence McKinney to end in the first round.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, 16 pro wins or 17 pro wins now. 16 come in the first round. One comes in the first half of the second round. He's never seen a third, and he's obviously never seen a decision. So that's a safe bet when you're going with Terrence McKinney. It's
The only thing
crazy.
I don't hope he sees that UFC exit ticket. You know what I mean? It's like it's over. I don't think his career is gonna be. I don't think he'll ever get cut by the UFC unless he just goes on an outrageous freaking like losing streak.
I mean, he's either creating a highlight or he's becoming a highlight. So I think they love having him. Like, hey, he's either going to go out there and do something spectacular or someone's going to do something spectacular to him. So, they love it. John Dong says, sup. What is up, John Dong?
What up, John Dong?
Slava Klaus probably will get cut. He is an incredible striker, though. I think Slava Klaus striking is super dangerous, and he would be insane in like BKFC or Karate Combat. He has some really wicked striking.
Let me talk to Prez. But yo, you guys, Slavakos, he's the
Yeah,
man.
bro. They need to hit him up because he's I think striking wise, I mean, typically the only time he loses is with wrestling. Like he put on a banger with Nazim Sadikov, who I rate very highly, and he pretty much won that fight. It was just for a 10-8, I believe, in the second round that turned it to a draw, but he won rounds 1 and 3. It was sick, man. I like Slava, so hopefully we see him fighting again in Karate Combat or BKFC or wherever he goes, if not the UFC.
Who has a better chance against Ilya, Gene Silva or Patty? Mike, you were in the chat last night. I don't know if you were under the influence. You were like, bookmark this tweet. I'm like, Mike, you can't bookmark it in the group chat.
I
You're like,
screenshot it just in case, bro. I legitimately, John Dong, I legitimately think that Patty presents problems for Ilia Topuria. I'm not saying by any means that I'm not calling Patty to win, but Patty is the biggest lightweight in the division. Size for size, obviously we got Joel Alvarez is 6'3", but in terms of like overall size, Patty is a big dude. Ilia Topuria is on the smaller end for lightweight. One thing about Patty I don't like is that he always holds his chin high, and that's why I didn't pick him against Michael Chandler. Surely enough, against Michael Chandler, Patty's tucking the chin. His cleaned up his striking a little bit. He was very strong in the grappling. I think out of anyone in the lightweight division, the toughest fight for Ilya is Arman Sarukian, and then after that, it's got to be Patty. You know, just based on the way Patty's been looking. Not
bro,
saying he wins, but he does present an interesting equation for Ilya Taporia to solve.
question. Would you book Ilya versus Armin next or Patty?
I think Dana said that Armin isn't getting it, which is odd. I know Ilya said that Gaethje is a person that makes sense, but in the post fight presser, somebody brought up to Dana that Justin was like, "Oh, I'll retire if they don't give me a title shot." Dana White didn't seem to like that, so I could definitely see Patty getting the title shot, even though he also wasn't a fan of Patty jumping in the cage last night.
Well, to
Um,
be honest, that wasn't on Patty. Somebody was supposed to prevent that because
yeah,
what Dana was saying is that his kids and his kid and his wife were in the cage. So just in case like something happened, he doesn't want them to get hurt. You know what I mean?
yeah, whoever let him in, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Scousers don't get knocked out except there until he got his Scouser card revoked. Scousers still don't get knocked out. Darren Till got his pass pulled.
Scousers don't get knocked out. I can't do the accent. I'm pretty terrible.
Scouser, it's hard to do, bro. They'd be like,
What
I
up, Big
can't.
Ong
It's tough.
MMA? Rufy versus Ilya. Sign me up. We'll
Rufy
see,
said he would
man.
knock him out, bro. Rufy was like, "Hey, good win, Ilia Topuria, but I'll knock you out."
Dude, honestly, I know that what the thumbnail says. We'll get to that, but
Mauricio
Rufy,
Hoopy's been knocked out before, though. He's already
yeah.
got his
I
shit
mean,
cracked.
all I'm saying, bro, it's kind of hard to bet against Ilya, especially with the odds coming out. Have you seen the odds on Bet Online? It's like
For
for
Topuria
Ilya versus
and
anybody.
oh nah nah,
He was like minus 400 against Gaethje. I think he was minus 500 against Patty.
damn.
Dude, like Patty was like a plus 600, bro.
That's a dog shot, bro. If Patty comes out and he's anything like plus 400, plus 500, worth a sprinkle. That's all I can say.
Shout out to the homie, what's his name? Jesse. He goes by I forgot what his Twitter name was, but he made a little like quick breakdown. He was just saying like he doesn't like how Ilya lets guys shoot in really deep on the takedowns. You know what I mean? So like I was thinking maybe Mike does have a point. Maybe Mike sees that too because he usually does a great job of breaking down fights on Twitter. So I'm
Yeah,
interested in if Patty can lock in those double legs, and he
dude,
can use the size advantage too. So.
and a lot of people have been pointing out how Ilia Topuria gets like weirdly upset when in an engagement with Patty Pimblett in the past. Like he seems to get flustered and angry when he's talking to Patty. Not sure how that plays into an actual fight. Ilya's a professional, but it seems like Ilia really does not. Ilia minus 300 versus Armin. That is pretty crazy. If I was going to be putting my money on the line, if I was the sports book, I'm going Ilia Topuria minus 180, minus 200 tops. Armin Sarukian is a really, really hard fight for anybody. I don't care who you are.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, honestly, minus 300 is kind of crazy. Maybe like in the 100s, but I'm no betting expert, so I bet a lot of money's gonna be on Armin. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the line will probably go down. If Armin opens up at like a plus 225, I'm sure it'll find its way to even out down to like a minus 130 or plus 130, plus 150, something like that.
I really hope they don't do Gaethje versus Ilya. Yeah, me too. Like to be honest, I'm still checked out on Justin Gaethje. I like him as a fighter. He's exciting, but just like I'm checked out on him just being a title like in a title fight because like every time he gets in the title fight, he just gets starched.
I
You
would
ever
like
notice?
to see him get one more crack though. I mean, but also same time, Ilya keeps murdering all my favorite fighters. So if he gets another one, that's four in a row of like guys I've been watching for a long time, and you know, I don't. I like Ilia Topuria, but he's doing my boys dirty. So I don't know if we need to see him do Gaethje like that. But imagine if Gaethje goes out there, 36 years old, does the impossible, finishes Ilia Topuria, finally gets that elusive lightweight title, undisputed, wrapped around his waist. That would be like a picture perfect ending.
So what was I gonna say? I was gonna mention that I think the lightweight division is kind of weak right now, and people are like, "What? There's so many dogs, so many killers there." I'm like, yeah, but like, majority of them are like 35 plus, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's like 2 or 3 guys I think that's under 30 years old, and that's like Ilya, Armin, and like Patty. I forgot who the other guys were. I think
Ignacio
Grant.
Bahamondes has I think he has a pretty bright future as well.
I just think the 155 is kind of aging. If you know what I mean. Because Lism's gone, right? Charles is like 36. Justin Gaethje is 35. Max is like 31 now. Poirier is gonna retire. He's 34, 35.
He might be
Oh,
36 at this point. Shit. Oh, Fares Ziam, Ignacio Bahamondes, Mauricio Hufi, Joao Alvarez is going to welterweight, I think.
yeah, Gerald Alvarez announced he's going to welterweight. And then you got Benil and Moicano, who's like 36. Chandler's like 38, 40 almost actually. Oh, BSD is actually like 28, which I thought he was like 34 to be honest.
He's taken a lot of damage already.
Let's see what I got. Max versus Dustin is interesting. If Max wins, who's next? If Max beats Dustin,
Give him Dan Hooker. That's a fucking banger, dude.
I know, but it's just like
Dan Hooker could beat him.
I mean, because at that point, Max is what number 4. He's number 4 in the division, right? I wouldn't mind him and Charles Oliveira to finish to get their rematch because that first fight ended in like a fluky win for Max because Charles got injured, like popped his shoulder out. So that's something, and I mean, based on people I talked to, they were already planning Charles versus Max in New Jersey for the BMF title, but that didn't fall through obviously because Ilya vacated the title.
I wouldn't
So
be surprised if Max beats Poirier on July 19th and Armin still doesn't have a fight. I could see Armin and Max for a title eliminator, honestly.
I mean, hey, Max still sells, so that's an exciting fight. Look at this one: Prime Fedor versus Topuria. Who do you got? Don't sleep on Fedor, man. Don't sleep on the Russian goat. All right, that's my goat right there.
Prime Fedor.
Nazim on the come up, yes sir. I love this last fight against Kili Motas. I'm so happy that he got a 100K bonus with Motas too.
Yeah, Moto was a dog in that fight. People are now talking about who was it? Somebody was like Mata versus someone I like, and I was like, nah. Oh, they were like Mata McKinney should be next, and I'm like, fuck, man, Mata might fuck McKinney up, bro. Good
And then I
stuff,
realized no
guys.
one mentioned Gim.
No one mentioned
Oh
Gamrot
shit!
because Gamrot ain't like that, bro. Gamrot is not like that. I'll say
No,
it.
stop disrespecting Gamron, bro.
Gamrot
Stop
is good.
disrespecting.
He's a gamer. That they call him gamer, don't they? I think he's good, but Dan Hooker was able, in my opinion, to get a solid win over him. I mean, who's Gamrot gonna fight?
I
Benny
mean, you're really
again?
looking at. Yeah, didn't really anybody for him. I mean, stylistically, I do like Patty and Gamrot.
Or a rematch because Gamrot's coming off another win. He could get the rematch against Armin. That was a controversial decision, even though I agree with.
Armin's saying he didn't. I mean, Gamrot saying he didn't want the fight. He's like, I'm not fighting down that far.
What
I
with
mean, to be
Armin?
honest, yeah.
He don't want that smoke.
I mean, Gamrot already beat him. I don't care what anybody says. That wasn't a robbery. I thought it was a clear 3-2 Gamrot.
So did I, bro. It was a great. That was like a grappler's delight. I thought that fight was sick, man. A lot of
Love
casuals
that
are
fight.
watching online.
Good
Good
shout
stuff,
out to the
guys.
homie Nelson Sobral. He's in our group chat. Remember that?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. What is up?
Good stuff. Who would you got between Ilya and Islam?
God, Ilya. I said that before Ilya even moved up. I was saying I think Ilya is gonna do what he says he's gonna do, and he
Me
keeps
too, because
doing it.
before he Islam vacated his title, and I was like, I think Ilya can do it, man. He's just too crisp with his boxing, man. It's too good, man. And Armin, I mean, Islam does get cracked himself too. So, is anybody gonna do it? It's gonna be Topuria because he kind of reminds me of the McGregor run, but with like less bars because he never had bars like McGregor.
Yeah,
You know, because I
yeah,
mean, McGregor, you just are memorable with whatever he said, but
yeah,
Ilya doesn't have that. I mean, some of the stuff he kind of steals from McGregor. I mean, you can see the clips online, people making comparisons, but his knockouts are better than McGregor's.
yeah. Well,
But
he also Ilya also comes from a grappling base, so I think that he would be, not necessarily better than Islam in the grappling department, but at least serviceable more so than the guys we've seen at lightweight who have fought Islam. And his striking is lethal, as we have seen time and time again. Burt Pelms, yeah, we know to fucking Fedor would beat Topuria. Obviously, Gary Goodridge would beat Topuria. They're too big for him, and they're professional fighters. But I'm sure Topuria would give a lot of guys at welterweight a run for their money.
I agree. Big Onk says, "I wish we had Masar versus Ilya." Yeah,
I think Ilya smokes him, bro. I'm not gonna lie. People were saying Ilya's running from Mozart, and then they're
yeah.
saying Islam's running from Ilya. I don't think anyone's running from anybody, bro. It's
So to
all
be
about.
honest, nobody knew that Topuria was gonna vacate his title like that because we all knew that Islam wanted to move up the welterweight if he just didn't want to fight it. Didn't want to fight Bilal. I think Bilal just didn't want to fight him.
He didn't want to have
So
to. He didn't want to have to smoke Bilal.
yeah, he's like, I ain't gonna smoke my boy like that.
I'm gonna let JDM smoke him first, and I'm gonna go get our get back.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get back to the fight.
Yeah, we went
Um,
off on a tangent. Yeah, Movzar has some good fights on the horizon, though. Featherweight is doing just fine right now. Ilya's coming to save lightweight. We have a wealth of talent at 145 right now.
all right, I ain't gonna lie about this next fight. It was Tracy Cortez and Vivian Araujo. I went to take a shower because I had to go get ready to go out to the bar. So I'll let you break this down. Tracy Cortez and Vivian Araujo. Ujo.
This is one of two picks on the card that I got wrong. Like I said, we went 9-2 this last week. If you tune into our video, we were calling methods, we were calling rounds, we were calling winners. It was a real good week for us at CST. Um, this fight though, I picked the Rouge out because she's like, she checks people, and 38 doesn't matter as much in WMMA as it does in men's. So I was like, this girl looks bigger, stronger. She just checked Karini Silva in her last fight, and Karini Silva was a big up and coming lethal prospect. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I got a Rouge out. Me and Delinquent were talking about it before the event. And Tracy Cortez went out there and very, very clearly won every round, in my opinion. So in
All
my
30, all
opinion,
30-27s.
yeah, it was a that to me because before we're like, who has Tracy Cortez really beat besides Jasmine Jasdavicius 2 years ago, which is a good win, a great
Yeah.
win. Now it's aged proper, and now she has another, in my opinion, for WMMA, she has another high level win under her belt. Beating Viviane Araujo is kind of like beating Neil Magny. If you can get past him, you're in the top. You know what I'm saying? So like you have the pass to get through the gate if you can beat her, and I thought it was a very impressive win.
Good for Tracy, 30-27. I see people talking about, hey, this is the type of Tracy Cortez we want to see in the future. So good win for her. We're gonna move on to the next one. The fight that kind of shocked me the most, Hyder Emil versus Jose De La Gato, because I thought it was gonna be a 3-round war. Because Hyder Emil just fucking walks forward. He doesn't care. He'll eat a shot to take a shot, eat a shot to give a shot, or whatever. Yo, he got fucking kneed right in the fucking jaw. He got dropped. Yeah, props to him for getting back up, but that man was done. I don't care. You flop like that, you're most likely out, man.
Yeah. It's
Like,
crazy because we were watching it. My buddy has a movie theater in his basement, so we're on this massive screen watching the fights. And there was like a lightning storm, and I'm telling you, bro, 4:43 in the fight in round one, power goes out. And then immediately my phone starts buzzing and it's like, oh my God, holy shit. And we're like, no, bro, the power went out for like 3 seconds and we missed it. And you know, it's crazy to see the line movement. I was tracking Delgado. He was around minus 150. Later
Yeah,
in the week, he was minus 175. Right before the fight, he was minus 125. So a lot of money must have been coming in on Hyder Emil. And I thought minus 125. I picked Delgado. Fuck it, let's ride. And it was an absolutely sweat free bet. I feel bad for Hyder Emil. You know, he's pretty solid on the mic. He was undefeated. He's all dog, all heart. It was sad to see him go out like that. But Jose Delgado's a beast.
dude. Jose Delgado has, yeah, Delgado has won 7 straight fights, all of them by finish. Isn't that insane? He's
Yeah,
been
he's nice.
he was on the regional scene, knocking dudes out, choking them out, and then he gets on Contender Series. He gets that a knee, a knee knockout, surprisingly, and then he knocks out Connor Matthews, and then he knocks out Hyder Emil. Dude's fun, man. He said, "Hey, put me on a Noche UFC card, man." Hey, dude, you do shit like that, of course you will. They might just listen to you, right?
He deserves it, bro. He deserves that. Like that's the least they can do. This motherfucker is, in my opinion, he's for real. He's young. Somebody said he was a doctor. I can't. Is this motherfucker a doctor or am I tripping?
I don't know what his background is besides that he trains out of the MMA lab. We got a bunch of dogs there. So he's 27 and training on the MMA lab on a 7-fight win streak, 2-0 at USC, 2 first-round finishes, and all knockouts. You can't argue against this man. Put that man on Noche USC. He'll knock you out, and then he'll check you up in the medical tent.
Yeah, like shit. 10-1, bro. He's got a solid future. He's pretty damn good.
Featherweight too. So Ilia gone, the door's wide open. You got Gene Silva coming up. You got Aaron Pico versus Mossar. And if Delgado can crack the top 15, I'll be happy.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable at least to get that far. We'll see what happens once he starts fighting the upper echelon because the competition gets pretty stiff once you start getting up in those rankings. But
All right.
he looks promising.
All right. This is the one of the most disrespectful knockouts I've ever seen. The prelim headliner, Jack the Joker Hermanson, was Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. Now, there was a lot of talk online that Herb Dean was late to the stoppage. I don't know. I kind of disagree because in the main event, we seen Charles took 2 extra shots. All I'm saying is that Herb Dean was there first, and he was getting a lot of shit.
Hey,
Mark,
Ilia Topuria is a lot faster than fucking Gregory Rodriguez. All I know is when Herb Dean, how old is this motherfucker now? 55 years old, trying to pull back a 200-pound man, bro. He needed to get in there and push him because imagine. Let's say this wasn't gonna happen, but imagine Jack Hermanson hits the ground the second his head hits, he starts to scramble a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he wakes back up.
you can see Herb Dean run as he bounces, and then he might have been a little too slow, but I give Herb Dean a little slack just because that was just so quick, and then
Super
he got there.
necessary.
I mean, to be honest, I think more people should come in at RoboCop, to be honest, than Herb Dean.
That's what they're trained to do, bro. Like they don't stop until the referee gets involved, and the referee hadn't gotten involved yet. He gave him one more. It was to the throat, which is pretty disrespectful. But a Big On says RoboCop versus Piper. Piper does not deserve RoboCop right now. He just absolutely destroyed Jack Hermanson, and Joe Piper had a real tough time against him in his last fight. I think Joe Piper needs to go against someone like Avis Magomedov. We were talking about that actually a couple weeks ago on the recap.
Right,
Hey, check this out. Check this out, bro. The most fire bet of the night: Gregory Rodriguez by knockout, Beneil Dariush by decision, Alex Pantoja by sub. Hit that joint! Come on now, stop playing with me. We called all these picks on the betting show, bro. We called all these picks. This would have been a good week to follow. If you're in here watching, you might want to tune in for me and Nick on Tuesday because we've been hot.
Yes, you guys have been. And listen, all right. Before I went out to the bar, I had 2 T-shirts to pick from Full Violence that I ordered. I had Money Moicano, or did I have RoboCop? I went with RoboCop. As soon as I put that T-shirt on, a body got caught. that was a dead one. It was a dead one, because Jack Hermanson, he went on a stretcher, I believe.
Yeah, that shit was fucked up.
That was a scary knockout. I can't lie. So,
he looked good though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's 37 years old, but up until the knockout, and that's kind of how we broke it down in the card. Like, I mean, this was the hardest pick for me and Nick to make. But Jack Hermanson was looking good until he wasn't. He was he had RoboCop leaking. He was sticking and moving, keeping his distance, but RoboCop just continued to plot forward. And yeah, he's coming off an injury. I think he had surgery. You know, he's taking a lot of time off. It was pretty sad to see him get done like that. But good win for RoboCop. We'll see what happens. He's susceptible to getting cracked himself, so we'll see what they do with RoboCop next. If I'm looking to make RoboCop, what do we got? Middleweight division. He's still outside of the rankings. We could even find a RoboCop Paulo Costa matchup. Um,
I mean, Paulo Costa's fighting Kopylov.
it got rebooked, or I thought it just got canceled.
It got pushed to 318.
Okay, so maybe Avis Magomedov for RoboCop. I just want to see Avis Magomedov fight again, and I want to see him lose to RoboCop now. So
Hey man, this a RoboCop and a Boost Magomedov.
let's go.
I'm cool with that. I mean, to be honest, I'm cool with whoever RoboCop fights. So good win for him. You know, violent win after losing against Jared Cannonier in his first main event. You know, he looked good in that fight, and he kind of gassed himself out trying to kill him in the first round. But we'll see. I like RoboCop. I will always be a big fan. So
Let's give Hermanson to Ateba Gautier when he knocks out Robert Valentin. That seems like a bad idea.
Dude, I can't say that. Ateba, right? Is it Ateba?
Yeah, something
like I know who he's talking about. I just can't pronounce his name. He's on the main card of like the 318 card. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably one of the worst fucking main cards I've ever seen in my life. Because if Dan Ige is Patricio Pitbull is your co-main event, and then that one's the fight before that we got to do something UFC. There's no way that card should be that bad. I get it, it's up and coming guys, but we shouldn't use those main cards for that.
Fucking Burt Pelham wants to see Ilia Topuria get smoked by a bigger opponent.
Hey, what is your agenda against Topuria? He's giving him like the big massive dudes, bro.
Kevin Holland on the prelims of 318. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it's subject to change. The final fight card might not be out for 318. I know they only have. When I checked on Google, there was only two. Wait, no, they dropped the card.
I don't know. 318 is looking rough.
Kevin Holland on the prelims don't sound right, bro. That sounds like disrespect to my boy, the most active fighter in UFC history.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Kevin Holland fan, to be honest.
Oh man, I like him. He's one of my favorites. As you see, I got the CST sign, Kevin Holland. You already know, rookie card. No, it's not it is a rookie card. Signed by
Shout out story himself. Of the fight. Shout out Will Romero. I think this is Will. RoboCop versus Piper. Fuck it.
Man, why Piper? Piper doesn't deserve it. RoboCop deserves to fight for a spot in the top 15. They gave him fucking Jared Cannonier to break into the top 15, and he got checked. They got to give him somebody between 10 and 15. Because what if Piper goes in there and takes his clout? I don't think he deserves it yet.
Honestly, Piper could knock out RoboCop. I have trust issues with RoboCop as well.
Piper barely beat Gastelum, and he got smoked by Hermanson.
Ilia, shout out to my homie Get. Ilia isn't a go until he gets into hit and flees the scene.
Hey yo, and then goes back to the scene of the crime.
It wasn't me. All right, let's get into the opener of the pay-per-view card. Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. What pisses me off about this fight, right? Dude, remember I was telling you earlier in the stream how I got stuck going to like 3 different bars? I missed this first fight, and I was so mad about it. So I never got the chance to look back at it. Dude, you tell me about it.
It was incredible. I mean, we ended up picking Peyton Talbot on the video. We kind of got, it's a get back spot, Peyton Talbot. But the way that I described how the fight was going to go, even though I'm nervous about Felipe Lima's grappling, how I'm thinking about the fight is that Peyton Talbot's going to be able to, because Felipe Lima's a great grappler, but he doesn't necessarily have the offensive wrestling that Jaime Barcelos has. So in my head, I'm like, okay, Peyton Talbot is going to stop the takedowns, keep the fight on the feet. What ended up happening was that Felipe Lima was having success on the feet, abandoning the fight there and then trying to take it to the ground. And Peyton Talbot, out of nowhere, just has the most insane scrambling capabilities. He's landing takedowns of his own. He's reversing positions. He's getting control. He's landing ground and pound. In my opinion, both of these guys looked really good out there. But Peyton Talbot, I was live tweeting. I was like, Peyton Talbot looks phenomenal. it's been 5 months since he fought Raoni Barcelos, and it looks like some significant improvements have been made. He looked like a grappling whiz. It almost looked like the striker was having more grappling success and the grappler was having more striking success. And in the end, I think Peyton Talbot clearly, in my opinion, he clearly won all 3 rounds. He won 29-28 on the cards, but I thought he won every round. I thought he looked really good. No shade to Felipe Lima. I think they're both high level prospects, and it was a super fun fight to watch.
Yeah,
Um,
people. I think Dana White was saying like if it wasn't for for the next fight or the Van and Royval fight, this fight would have won fight of the night most likely. So wasn't able to watch it, but fuck those guys at the bars who
it
didn't let
was
us in.
great, dude. I was so shook at what happened. Even though the pick was right, I did not see him out grappling Felipe Lima the way he did. Peyton's
Uh,
cage cutting and pressure was also very good against a guy in Lima who has great angles. Yeah, it was impressive, man. Peyton Talbot, and he even said after the fight, he's like, like after I lost to Barcelos, I'm like, am I even a real fighter? And then to come in here and, kind of learn on the job and make the right decisions for the most part. In the first round, he ended up getting back to his feet and went in for a takedown of his own and got reversed. So he made a mistake in round one, but he ended up cleaning it up, and he looked real good, man. Yeah, Lima did look better in the striking. It was almost like Lima must have felt something on Peyton Talbot's side that he didn't like, and that's why he kept initiating the wrestling. Because to me, it looked like Lima was having a lot of success on the feet.
I mean, he did. So Talbot gets the win. Apparently, he calls out Giannis. I didn't get to that part. I only made it to but I made it back. I made it into a bar during Marcano and Benil. To be honest, I
It's a
think
good call out.
you think. To be honest, I don't really see that as even a close fight. I think Talbot just kind of just knocks him out, possibly.
I think he would smoke him, but that'd be a good fight. Like instead of just jumping up to the top 15 right now, at least getting a fight against Yanez, who's sitting between that 20 to 25 range. Seeing how you fare there against a relatively high level boxer. And then, because I mean, if you're giving Peyton Talbot, number 15 is fucking Vinicius Oliveira. Like, the bantamweight division is stacked, and I think he's a bit young to push too quickly, kind of like the way that they've been doing Josh Van. I don't know if Peyton Talbot's necessarily that ready.
I was gonna mention this fight. I was like, I don't know. Cody Garbrandt is coming off two back. I was coming off back to back losses. I don't want to do him dirty like this.
I mean, that Cody Garbrandt is also not ranked, though. So I guess that, I mean, it's hard to say what they'll do with Peyton Talbot next. They gave him two straight grapplers, so you would think they're going to reward him with a striking match.
Hey, he showed
Um,
up. He put on performance, as you said. A lot of people were very happy with his performance. Everybody's saying shout out to him and Frank Ocean. So, did you see that tweet? I put it out there.
yeah,
You like
yeah.
that one?
And of course, bro, Peyton Talbot had to get it done for Pride Month. He spazzed out. He did his thing. I knew Peyton Talbot was gonna win that fight, bro. I don't know why. Something was speaking to me and Nick.
Peyton, I mean, Montel Jackson's too tall for Peyton. Hey, man. I don't see
Right
why
now,
not.
maybe.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, Montel Jackson barely fights too, so I don't know why this motherfucker never fights. I don't know if he's constantly dealing with injuries or if he just kind of is, a part-time fighter or what. But I wish we were seeing Montel Jackson fight more often.
Mm-hmm. All right, next fight. Benil Dariush, Renato Moicano. First round was fun. I mean, I thought the fight was solid. The first round, I thought was pretty close. And then Moicano kind of steals the round with the first round knockdown. And then kind of Benil just kind of, won the next two rounds.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to Story of the Fight. Good split, boys. Have a good show. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you and Romero for all you do. I'll watch your show
Yeah.
later on.
Let's go. Yeah, man. Me and Nick, we got it
Bet
posted
the
on the
pick of the
page.
week. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
pick of the week.
Follow CS Today News on Twitter. It's right down on the bottom of the screen. We drop, of course, we're always dropping news, a lot of fun content, and also, betting picks, fight predictions. We posted it. Favorite pick of the week was Benil Dariush. I know a lot of people were on Moicano, but the way that me and Nick saw it, who's better striker? I think it's Benil. Who's the better grappler? I think it's Benil. Who's the better offensive wrestler? I think it's Benil. So, in my opinion, Benil is going to dictate the pace of the fight. If he wants it on the feet, it's going to stay on the feet. If he wants to take it to the ground, he'll take it to the ground. And Yeah, big on. He got dropped at the end of round one. I had him up on the cards, or up on the round one scoring pretty comfortably. And then the most damaging shot of the round was Renato Moicano. He ended up getting a little bit of ground and pound off. Benny got back to his feet, but round one has to go to Renato Moicano. And Beneil Dariush was able to outpace Moicano in rounds 2 and 3. Uh, take advantage of his wrestling advantage and just kind of control the fight for the rest of the time. I thought it was a great scrap, honestly.
What do you think Benil should fight, Fiziev or Dan Hooker?
Oh God, he said he didn't care. He was like, I don't give a fuck. Whoever they tell me to fight, I'll fight. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna give him a killer. Dan Hooker would be cool. The only thing is Dan Hooker is made of granite and throws heavy, and I feel like he could potentially knock out a
To
Beneil
be
Dariush.
honest, I'd rather see Fiziev and Dan Hooker, to be honest.
Yeah, that's more of a striker's delight. If we're giving Beneil Dariush anybody, I mean, fuck, man.
Grant Dawson?
Uh, Benny is number 9. Is Benny gonna fight down? He said he doesn't care who he fights,
What up,
and
Nick?
I don't think Patty Pimblett's looking down in the rankings. So, and he just beat number 11. But how is Beneil Dariush about to fight number 11 and then fight number 13?
He
He
said
already
fought
beat.
anyway. You don't ever say that, man. Plus, he's older.
Benny versus Mike Chandler. Actually, Nick Cook there, kind of. Nick,
Mike Chandler said he didn't want to fight this year. Maybe towards
yeah,
like beginning of next year.
he got a generational beating from Patty Pimblett. Please answer my hypotheticals. I'll behave if you do.
All right, man. I was kind of skipping them because you kept giving too much, but I'll give this one some light. Melvin Manhoff versus Ilia Topuria. Manhoff is the same height.
Fuck it. Give me Topuria.
Give me the Topuria.
Why is Michael Chandler still ranked? He's a big name, and he hasn't really lost to anybody who isn't high level. Yeah. They have yet to feed him to an up and coming prospect, which I could see happening on the horizon. Maybe they give Michael Chandler to a Fares Ziam or Bahamondes. But Benny Dariush, I don't know what's next for him, dude. Honestly,
do you know what's a fight I want to see? I really want to see Paul Hughes versus Ilia Topuria. Like, I think stylistically that just would be fun.
Paul Hughes is good.
Get Paul Hughes in the UFC, man. PFL, yeah, I guess they're doing him right over there. So, I just him and Usman is really like the only fight to make in the PFL, but I really want to see him against Topuria.
We need to figure out what kind of contract Paul Hughes has himself locked in.
He's getting paid well, so that's all I know. Guys, do you think McGregor is done? I see a huge dude. Remember, I was literally talking about this in the group chat. I'm getting like fucking like killed, not killed, but like, are you fucking insane for saying this fight? That guy's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
like,
I was defending Conor McGregor.
You're a piece of shit too. You're a piece of shit too, dude. Can you hear me? I think I muted my mic. Yeah. I was laughing too hard. I was laughing because of the shit you were saying in the group chat. He's innocent.
Yeah, I was wilding out in there. Conor McGregor definitely has some issues he needs to figure out. I don't think we see Conor McGregor in the octagon again.
But you can't tell me not that like this guy is the biggest fight Ilia Topuria is gonna have because like that fight's gonna sell. And, like no matter what, Conor McGregor's name is gonna sell. People, you can hate him or love him, whatever you feel about him. That man's a draw. And in 2025, he still draws. Because especially in a desperate time with the UFC, they don't really have the biggest stars right now. I mean, the biggest star is probably Islam, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, Islam. Ilia's got to be up there at this point. Alex Pereira, Islam, Ilia. Enrique Extraordinary says Topuria's torque on his punches is something else. I remember when so-called MMA striking coaches would never let you fight like Topuria back in the day. His boxing technique is just so slick, and he punches he punches like a boxer, and that's why he's getting these knockouts because he has the power, he has the technique, he has the placement, just like how Conor used to say it. He's like, I'm focused on accuracy and placement instead of like speed and power, which those things come naturally, and if you have the technique behind it, we see the results that Ilia Topuria is getting, and it's pretty remarkable. He is smashing people, bro.
Dude, from what I was saying, like I think he was talking about like he doesn't have like a main MMA coach. It's kind of like I have a boxing coach, I have like a kickboxing coach and I have jiu-jitsu coach and a wrestling coach. It's like one disciplinary for Aaron, and I just work on that with that coach only. So he then just applies it into this game. That dude's fucking box is nasty. I knew he
Yeah.
was the real deal when he knocked out Max because I was like, all right, I can't deny this man no more.
Best
Because like,
boxing in the game, probably Ilia Topuria right now. But hey, the guy we're about to talk about next, he's right there, man. Some of the slickest boxing you will see in MMA.
I remember when no one would even teach you to jab like that in the day. The argument was always you get taken down, yada yada. What do you think, Mike? It's true,
Yeah,
right? I mean, the
I mean,
game's different nowadays. Everybody's
the
got
sport is
takedown defense.
evolving. Yeah, the fighters are evolving. The sport is evolving. The athletes are getting better. We see it in almost every sport. Like the athletes are just evolving, and with
It's like
that comes the
football.
evolution of the sport.
It's like the quarterback can just scramble now. You know what I
Right.
mean? You have great pocket presence now. Like your typical, typical pocket quarterback is not there anymore in the NFL. It kind of just doesn't work anymore. You kind of need some mobility, you know. You got to make some like crazy plays and stuff like that. So you got to be at least good everywhere. But speaking of boxing, we got to go to the next fight, man. This is the
Woo!
fight of the night, arguably fight of the year. One the
Definitely fight of the year, bro.
arguably the greatest flyweight fight of all time. Brandon Royval versus Josh Van. I know you had Brandon Royval at the plus 100, but I don't think you'd be mad losing just because of how great this fight was. What do you think about Joshua Van's performance against Brandon Royval?
Bro, this fight, a good friend of mine, he's like a mentor to me. He's the biggest boxing fan, biggest MMA fan. He's been watching for a long time. He's 43. I wasn't with him this weekend, but I texted him and I said, "You better tune in. This shit's gonna be a banger." At the end of the fight, I got a text message from him and it says, "This is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life. I'm shaking." And I was like, because sometimes he doesn't see it the way I do, and
Yeah.
he getting his sign of approval on a fight sometimes is like, okay, he's assuring the crazy over the top thoughts I'm having. So when he told me he thought it was one of the greatest fights, period, he's ever seen, I was like, I agree, bro. It was Joshua Van wins round one. He's landing the better shots. In my opinion, Brandon Royval comes back strong. He's landing more volume. He's starting to hurt Josh Van a little bit as well. Back and forth. Brandon Royval takes round two. And I had Brandon Royval up slightly, maybe in a very close third round. And right at the end of round three, Joshua Van lands a devastating blow
Yeah,
that puts
I
Brandon
think he
Royval
sealed the
down.
deal right there, bro.
That's what I said. Me and my buddies, there's like 30 seconds left, and we're like, I think Royval might be winning this round. And both my
Yeah,
buddies were
yeah, yeah.
like,
No,
yeah,
I said the
probably.
same.
Yeah.
I think me and my buddy was leaning to Rory Val, just like, yeah, I kind of feel like he's winning this fight. And then next thing you know, like that final 10 seconds drops. I'm like, yo, he stole the round. He
Yeah, I mean
stole
the
it.
round was close enough. The round I thought Royval was winning round three, but it wasn't like he already ran away with it. It was very close, and he landed the most damaging shot of the round. He got some ground and pound in, super high energy, crowd's going insane. I got goosebumps. Oh man, that
I was
fight.
at a I was at a Dave and Buster's because remember we were bar hopping and couldn't find one, so we had to settle there. A lot of young guys were there watching the UFC fights. So it was pretty cool seeing everybody jumping up and down, like the new generation, like this Van dude's nasty, bro.
Yeah,
And yeah, everybody went crazy for his fight, and then yeah, he cemented himself a title shot against Pantoja. How do you not give him a title shot after
yeah,
that? You know what I mean?
it was incredible.
It'll be a crime if he doesn't get a title shot. Yeah, they had the face off in the ring and stuff like that, but whew, that
I
fight was
like Josh
incredible.
Van on the mic too. I think Josh Van is a little bit underrated on the mic because he doesn't say that much. But like even in the pre-fight press conference, they were like, "Hey, like Royval and Van, the winner of you guys is getting a title shot. What do you have to say to the guys fighting for the belt tonight?" And Josh Van's just like, "Hey, one of y'all is gonna have to come see me." And I'm
Yeah,
like, "Hey, I like that little shit." And even at the end, he's like, "I respect Pantoja. He's a great champion, but you ain't never fought Joshua Van." And he just puts this big smile on.
I
He
love Van.
is. I mean, everyone I was talking to afterwards, they're like, I think Josh Van might be my favorite fighter now. And I'm like, I don't see how he couldn't be. I mean, this guy is just, and Brandon Royval too. We can't take away from Brandon Royval. He was absolutely unbelievable. Probably, I mean, that's got to be a top five fight of all time in the UFC.
I think so too, man. I wish it was 5 rounds, man. The way they was going, and I just can't wait, man. If he beats Pantoja, dude, I would be the happiest man in the
Me
world.
too, bro. I'm hoping he can. I mean, it's a really, really stiff test. And Josh Van, the one thing that he does not have a wealth of is experience against high level grapplers. That's why when we were doing our recap 2 weeks ago, I was like, give Josh Van anybody except Tagir Ulanbekov. And now he has to fight the best grappler in the division. So
All right,
it's going to be a tough fight.
we got to answer Bert question. Please answer. Prime Bob Sapp on PCP versus John Jones.
John Jones. But PCP is not going to help Bob Sapp. It's just going to
And the
allow
word
him to absorb.
and the
more
words of Dana
damage.
White, you put John Jones with 10 other guys in one room. John Jones is walking out.
Yeah. PCP
And you could put him with 20 Bob Sats. He's still walking out. He ain't being Pantoja. Yeah, honestly, I don't really believe he's ready right now. So, but if he does,
but JDM,
he does.
Everyone was saying Bilal was going to beat JDM. I mean, this is a little bit different than that situation, but I give Joshua Van more than a 0% chance of winning that fight.
Yeah. I mean,
and of course, I'm going to be rooting for him. He's probably going to be a plus 300 underdog, and I'm going to be drawn into it. Donate.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm putting $100 on that shit.
Let's go. Josh Van's him, bro.
He said, "Who's everybody?"
I mean, we both had JDM, Nick. You already know but we're like that though. Not everybody's like that.
You know who everybody is? It's fucking Jay and his whole Bilal army on freaking Twitter, bro. Tell me why Jay has a freaking Bilal Muhammad group chat. I'm like, dude, that is some real loser shit. Like, I'm sorry. I was about to ban him from CSC. I'm like, dude, that is the most loser shit I've ever seen in my life.
Bilal Muhammad group chat is fucking crazy. That's hilarious.
If you don't believe me, dude, if I could find a tweet right now, oh god, dude. Hey, I'm gonna lead you to Carrie for this for the comments.
We go. Let's get it.
Yeah. Let me find this tweet. You hold it down real quick. All right, you didn't hold it down. You just fucking kept quiet.
Oh, I thought you meant the comments. I was loading it up for a second. Now I'm holding it down. You already know what the fuck going on. Josh Van is him. Josh Van is him. I think Brandon Royval's him too. I think he's super ballsy. The number 12 guy jumping in on short notice. Brandon Royval, if you want to be the best in the world, that means you can beat anybody. And Brandon Royval was willing to take that test. He has a lot to lose. Josh Van had nothing to lose in this fight. Me and my boys were talking about it beforehand. Like Joshua Van on short notice fought 3 weeks ago. He's going up to fight the number one guy in the world, number one contender in the world. And he doesn't have anything to lose. He's 23. If he loses, he's going to learn a lot. He's going to be back. This kid will be a title contender. And he went out there and he stole the fight in the last seconds. Brandon Royval knew it right at the end of the fight. He stood back up and he was just like, fuck, man. He just gave it up. Joshua Van and Brandon Royval put on an absolute all-timer. That's got to be up there, man. I gotta make a list of the greatest fights in UFC history. That immediately comes to mind. Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier comes to mind. Obviously, Robbie Lawler and Roy McDonald too, I believe.
I can't find it.
And also, low-key, Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo put on one of the greatest fights I've ever seen as well. I'm not sure if it was the second match. Do you think there are less superstars now than the early days of MMA, or am I just getting old? Maybe there's way more fighters now and more things to watch. I think there's less when we were growing up, it was like, oh, we have John Jones, we have like these big names, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Quentin Rampage Jackson, Vitor Belfort. There was a lot of these standout guys, but I feel like that was because the sport wasn't necessarily in as good of a place, even though now it seems like there's a lot of filler fighters due to things like Dana White's Contender Series.
I think there's just a lot of fighters that people don't like. Be real.
Yeah. And also, UFC prioritizes their brand. It's not like they're prioritizing this certain fighter, even though they do have their preferences with fighters. The biggest superstar of the UFC is the brand. And I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think there's less superstars, maybe, I guess. But Conor McGregor was the first big superstar. He changed the sport. And since then,
I mean, it was Brock Lesnar, too. Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Like those.
Who's the superstar today? Ilia. Islam.
Well, those are just stars. I don't think they're superstars, right?
You don't think Ilia's a superstar yet?
Oh, we gotta talk about the pay-per-view numbers. You gotta see what type of traction he does. Like, are people talking about Ilia like that? Because when people talk about Conor, everybody knows Conor, right? Or Ronda Rousey.
People who don't know fighting know Conor McGregor.
Exactly. So that's like superstar right there. John Jones is kind of like in between. but sometimes he's kind of known for the wrong things nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, I just think Connor just level of superstar was kind of he's a mega superstar to be honest. That's what he really is. He's in his own category. I mean, Brock Lesnar is kind of in that category because that dude just shows up and he brings numbers in. You know,
Yeah.
Ronda was kind of on there when she was on her streak. She got dusted by Holly Holm.
Dude, I
Um,
seen that. Did you see that clip of that dude getting fucking folded and power slap? And he got knocked out so bad he smacks his head on the table and falls backward.
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Dude,
You
I
guys are
saw this
awesome.
clip. Bro, I usually never fuck yeah, Burt Palm. I'm happy you subscribed. That's awesome. Throw a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. You know that always
Yeah,
helps
throw
the
a thumbs
algorithm.
up, man. Subscribe, like our channel.
Yeah.
Follow us on all social media platforms at CS Today News. You know what I mean? We try to do it out here.
Yeah, yeah,
And do
big.
me a favor, man. You're gonna come in these and give us some real questions, man. I don't want to know who's Andre the Giant gonna beat Francis Ngannou or not. I
He
like
asked the
questions
superstar
like
question though. That was a good one.
that's what I'm talking about. But drop these
Yeah, that's a good
beautiful
question.
comments like this.
Hell yeah, bro.
All right, let's get to the co-main event. Kai Kara France versus Pantoja. You know how I felt about this fight. You know how I felt about Kai Kara France. I think he's mid. You know, I didn't really think he deserved a title shot. Gatekeeper, top 5, whatever. I
Oh,
mean, dude, like, I don't know, man. I wasn't like the biggest Kai Kara fan. Yeah, he's exciting. He'll knock somebody out, but like, who's he really knocking out? You
I mean,
know,
he has a win over Askar Askarov, a pretty good win. And you know who lost to Askar Askarov?
Pantoja, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, it's just Kai Kara France. You know, he has what he's good at, and the worst possible stylistic matchup you can give Kai Kara France is Pantoja. You know, my pick on the video was Kai Kara France out of a complete bias, and I said in the video, Pantoja sub makes sense, and that's what ended up going in the parlay. Benny Dariush decision, RoboCop knockout, Pantoja sub, and he completely just nullified him. You know, Kai Car France opened up real big in the beginning. He threw a couple explosive shots, overextended, got taken down, and he stayed there the rest of the round. And round 2, he's now more tentative. My friends were like, "Why isn't he throwing?" I'm like, "Cause he got took down the second he did it the first time." So now he's fighting more timid because of the threat of the takedown. And of course, Alex Pantoja's classic winging like heavy looping shots just to get into range and get you on the floor again. And if Pantoja takes your back, best case scenario, you're gonna sit there for 4 minutes. Worst case scenario, you're gonna get choked, and that's exactly what happened. Pantoja, 4 title defenses. He's looking pretty solid right now.
Pantoja was talking about he needs to be more respected because for his pound for pound rankings, I think he's ranked at number 9. And I'll be honest, he was like, I need to be behind Islam. So I kind of dropped my own pound for pound rankings. I'll let you comment on that one. Let me share the screen real quick. All right, do you see it?
Yeah, we
All right.
got.
Do you need me to zoom in?
No, I see. We got Marab number 1, Topuria number 2, Islam number 3, Pantoja coming in at number 4, DDP 5, Volk 6, Aspinall 7, Ankalaev at 8, JDM in the 9 spot, and then Max Holloway at number 10. I don't mind that list at all. Because 9 is disrespectful for Pantoja. I think 4 is definitely a much more reasonable
4 or 5,
spot for
I think
him.
is more reasonable. What Marab has done, like even though he has less title defenses, just the guys he's beaten, bro. Like you cannot deny this man.
Well, he hasn't lost
Jose
since Ricky
Aldo,
Simone beat him. How long ago was that?
dude,
How
that was
many
a
years
long
ago?
time ago. Dude, if he had like an extra, if the clock ran out like 2 seconds later, earlier or something like that, he would have been fine. Like his win streak would have probably been like 15 now. But what was I gonna say?
It's tough, man. I mean, Marab is definitely that guy right now. He's a lot of high level wins. Obviously, Ilia and Islam. Um,
If Ilya would have knocked out Islam, he would have been number 1. But Charles, I'm I've had my comments about him. I always thought he was kind of a quitter. You know, that's just me. But he didn't. You know,
he didn't quit last night.
he didn't. You know, his chin did. But
That was the first time he got laid out like that, bro.
I don't know. I just seen him get finished so many times, and he's 36 now. So I mean, if Ilya did that to Islam. You have to put that man number one. You know, but
Yeah.
I have him at two. If it was Islam, it would have been different. But Merab's streak, the way he's been dominating fighters, he beat Umar, he beat Sean O'Malley twice, Josie Otto, Peter Yan, and he just dominated every single one of those fights. Well, not the Umar fight, but I had it
Not the
clear
Aldo
3-2.
fight either, bro. The Aldo fight had me hating on Marab. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. I ain't gonna lie either. I watched that. I was at the club and I went to the car and just watched it in the car. And I was like, everybody said, "Where'd you go?" I have to watch this fight in quiet, nice and peaceful. And I regretted it. And I went back into the club.
Big Onk says Kai versus Cap. Kai versus Cap is solid, but I feel like there's a pretty good matchup for Kai Kara France right now, and it's against a guy who shares his name and Kai Asakura. It'll be a chance for Kai Asakura to ascend in the rankings, and we can see who the best Kai is. So I'm all for Kai versus Cap or Kai versus Kai. I know there's a little bit of backstory behind Cap and Kai, but that either one of those is a good fight. Charles went to a decision with Chandler, and Chandler almost finished him. Charles also finished Chandler.
I don't know, man. I think Charles.
I don't know what's next for. I don't know what's next for. Well, we'll get to the Charles Oliveira talk here in a sec. We got the flyweight. A lot of people are calling flyweight GOAT.
Listen, I hate people online sometimes.
I got Mighty Mouse, bro. Mighty Mouse is like,
dude, the guys that are in the division right now, right? I was telling you this in the group chat. Majority of them are strikers now. So, I feel like it's easier for Pantoja to rack up those title defenses. I don't care. Kai Kara France is not that great of a win. Kai Asakura is not that great of a win, especially the guy who never fought. I mean, not never, but made his UFC debut, right, at flyweight when he was a bantamweight for a majority of his career. He hasn't fought a flyweight since 2017, before he even fought for Ryzen. So, there's that. And his best friend is Brandon Moreno, who already beat twice already, and then he beat him for the third time. 3 times, right?
Hey, so but that last fight though, I will die on the hill that Brandon Moreno. First of all, Brandon Moreno broke his hand in that fight, and I had Brandon Moreno on the cards 48-47. Man, I was kind of surprised when they gave it to Pantoja in that fight. And then, of course, since then, Pantoja's pretty clearly won the fights he's been in. Steve Erceg, I had that 48-47 Erceg. Maybe I'm a hater, but...
Dude, I'm not even that high on Erceg either, too. Number 9 guy getting a title shot. And now he's lost 3 straight. Against reasonably good guys, right? No. I guess we could say top-ranked guys. He lost to Pantoja. Then he got fucking clapped by Kai Kara France. And then he lost to Brandon Moreno. So that's a rough stretch right there. So... kind of proves that he's not really top 5-ish. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a hater towards Pantoja's run.
Volkan Yair is going to be annoying.
Guys, I don't even want to talk about this fight. I hate
He says, "Do you look more like your mom or your dad?" Apparently, I look exactly like my dad. Is that a bad question?
Do you
Apparently, I look like my dad too.
I look more like my dad. Apparently, I look like Zach. That's that's not a bad question.
DJ would destroy this current generation of flyweight, bro. I was calling it after Pantoja recently beat Brandon Roybal. I was like, Mighty Mouse could fight today and be the champion.
Shout out to my homie. Retired. That's my homie right there, Tyreek. Yeah. DJ would destroy this current generation of flyweight. Agreed. Because, to be honest, I think if Mighty Mouse, Mokaev, or Henry Cejudo was in his division right now, they would all beat Pantoja. That's just my thoughts.
Dude, I'm still upset about the Muhammad Mokaev cut.
Dude, they knocked, they got rid of him. So that's what, ever since they got rid of him, that's why I feel like Pantoja's title reign is going to be stacked up. You know what I mean? Stat pattern. I hate to say it, I'm being a hater, but I think he's stat pattern.
I'm a hater too, bro. And I try not to hate him. I was even trying to hype him up before the fight. They were like, this Pantoja guy looks sick. And I'm like, yeah, he's a killer. And then 5 minutes into the fight, I'm like, man, fuck Pantoja. I hope Kai knocks him out, bro.
Yeah. Could Merab move up to fight Pantoja, or Pantoja move up to fight Merab?
I think he said he didn't want to.
To be honest, I think Merab just mauls him, to be honest. I think that's an easy 50-44, to be honest.
Ooh, God.
Dude, I think he just grounds and pounds him all fucking day. Merab's a machine. Pantoja's going to get... I mean, they're both cardio machines, but I think Merab's too much.
Yeah, Marab is real good right now, and they're very similar in age too. So there's not like a youth factor into that equation.
So yeah,
Makayev
me
is
being
still winning. Makayev needs to be back in the UFC expeditiously, bro. He could be a champion right now, and I think he was like 7-0 in the UFC. He came off that very impressive win over Manel Kape, and they were just like, "Nope, you're gone," because he tried to fight him like in the PI or something. And I mean, I feel like the UFC has been more lenient with a lot heavier stuff outside of the cage. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because Muhammad Makayev had an exchange of words with, one of the matchmakers, or if he like
I
seriously
swear to
disrespected someone.
I think it's just a matchmakers thing. Dude, the matchmakers should be so petty. Think about it, man. They've done some like look. Remember the history of Joe Silva,
Joe Silva, not wait, the coach,
huh?
the coach.
No, Joe Silva. We're talking about the matchmaker, the old one, right? Is that his name?
Okay. For some reason, I'm thinking of Volk's coach. I don't even know if that's his name.
Shout out to the homie Jabs, MTJ. Good to see you in here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a hater towards Pantoja.
I
That's
mean,
just
I'm a
being
hater
me.
too, bro. I'm sorry. I try not to ever be a hater, and I respect Pantoja. I apologize if I've given off hater vibes, but he frustrates me sometimes.
Like I said, he's stat padding, bro. That's just
He's
me.
gonna frustrate me even more if he goes out there and grapple fucks Joshua Van. Joshua Van is the champion we deserve.
Dude, I just want to see Joshua Van get the finish, bro. Hits him with a body shot and then finishes him up top
If
and
he can
drops him.
survive the first 3 rounds, Pantoja starts to get tired, man. And
But
if
here's the
Joshua,
thing: if that fight goes down, he's just gonna hang on his back, bro. That's all I see, to be honest. What Pantoja is gonna do to Josh Van, and then Josh Van is gonna play like defending his hands from make sure he doesn't get rear naked choke standing, and then yeah, I don't know. I see it kind of similar to like the Brandon Moreno fight.
we got John Dong saying, "How do you think light heavyweight Jailton would do against current top light heavyweights? Imagine what Jailton would do to Khalil." Yeah, I think Jailton Almeida would do pretty damn good against the light heavyweights. I know Jailton Almeida fought the Pleasure Man, Anton Turkali, and it took him longer than I was expecting to get a finish. That was earlier in his career, but yeah, I think Jailton Almeida fares pretty well against almost anybody in light heavyweight.
He's good at heavyweight, man. You don't have to cut weight. The division's thin, so why not, right? Just stay there.
Yeah, and he's fast for heavyweight.
Philly, are you Mexican or Philippines? I'm fucking none of those. What the fuck, you, man? I'm fucking Cambodian, man.
Or Philippines.
Yeah, I get
uh,
that too.
this geek. Dude,
Shout out
people will
Jabs.
hear my last name and look me in my eyes and be like, "Are you Filipino? Do I fucking look Filipino, bro?"
Joshua Van is what Phil if he locked in. You know what's
Dude,
fucked up?
you
You know
you
what's fucked up? I had 3 people telling me, he said, congrats, Phil, when you win. I'm like,
bro,
dude,
your voice is similar to his voice. It's crazy. He actually there's some similarities in the way that he sounds to the way you sound as well.
dude, he looks up to me, bro. I'm big bro to Joshua Van.
Yeah, you're his big homie, bro.
I'm big homie. Is
it's
Azamat champion material?
it's hard
Is
to
he talking
say. You
about the
gotta
light?
think.
Is that the
He might,
middleweight, right?
yeah, Azamat Mirzakhanov, yeah,
Dude, there's
the
too many
middleweight.
Azamats.
Yeah, Mirzakhanov, he had that good win over Dustin Jacoby. He recently starched Brenson Ribeiro. He's pretty good. He's like 35 though, or 36. I know that doesn't matter as much in the heavier classes, but if you look at, DDP's there, Kyle Baralio's there, Nazardine Imavov is there. Those guys are pretty high. I mean, DDP not really, but he's just a tank. Those guys are all good grapplers. So it'd be hard for Azamat to deal with that kind of grappling. We haven't really seen him deal with high level grapplers yet, but I don't think he'll be a champion.
I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, and a lot of Filipinos. You could pass, but I could definitely see Cambodia. Yeah, not a lot of people know what Cambodians are, so it's all good, man. Appreciate that. Hood Asians stand up.
Yeah,
What's
but
up,
yeah.
cuz? What's up, cuz? What's up?
You already know the vibes. You already know how we coming.
Dude, I got a picture of me like when I was like 12 years old, just all in Dickies and big baggy clothes with my Air Force Ones and my fitted hat, bro. I thought I was like the coolest dude. Because I'm like, I had like a bunch of cousins. I was just in gangs and shit like that, so I was like influenced by them. And then you got the 2000s rap music scene and everything like that. Dude, I was
Out
just
there
like,
posted.
dude, I was like bumping like a Bone Thugs and Harmony and shit, bro. Tupac, Biggie, whatever West Coast rapper there was.
Getting sturdy out there.
What
What
about
about
Mike?
Michael? Half Czech, half English. That's funny. Czech. I'm a Czech motherfucker. No, my last name's actually Aquino. My dad is Puerto Rican, and my mom, she's from DC, but her parents are they're Irish, but they're like Irish blooded, but from London, so they have British accents. So I guess Irish and Puerto Rican.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know you were Puerto Rican until you told me. You're like, I got that Puerto Rican blood in me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Boricua boy, you already know I'm rocking with Rob Font. You already know how we coming out here.
Shout out Rob Fun, dude. My homeboy actually ran into him at a Backstreet Boys concert.
That's hilarious, bro.
I was like, yo, Timmy, what you doing with Rob Fun? He's like, yo, I just ran into him at the Backstreet Boys concert. I'm like,
The most
that's the most
random hookup.
uh Kun Khmer kickboxing taking over MMA. Shout out. Shout out. Yeah. Kun Khmer over Muay Thai any day. Cool. Do you have any indigenous heritage?
Who?
Me? I mean, tech. All right. So, like, here's like a little history about my family. We're actually from like the jungle, like legitimately the jungle. We're called the Brow tribe, so we're like, I guess you could say indigenous. So we literally grew up in tree houses and everything, and like they didn't really believe in electricity and stuff like that. So they kind of just like I don't know what the fuck they did during the day. They just sewed, smoke, drink, go bathe in the river, go catch animals, go farm and shit like that. So it was pretty cool. And then like we had our own native tongue. So like freaking we spoke a different language than Cambodian normal Cambodians would. So we weren't like the city Cambodians. We were like just the jungle. And then when the Khmer Rouge happened, they ended up like wiping out like the village. So like a lot of my family members got either brought in as soldiers or prisoners. But like when my mom was like 5 or 6 years old, her and my and her sister, my grandparents, or whatever, they actually had to escape the refugee camp and run through the landmines. I mean, not the landmines, the fields that had landmines and shit. You ever watch that Rambo movie when they had the light on the tower and they're just like looking for anybody who's running away?
Yeah.
Like like my family would just like dodging that light and trying to get. And they got into Thailand and like they took like a freaking plane or boat to freaking like California. So
Damn,
yeah,
bro. That's a crazy story.
yeah, it's pretty wild, bro. So that's and so like now where my family's from, it's like a fucking resort now. I was like, what? My
That is
mom was like,
nuts, dude.
yeah, go look it up, like look up, see if you can find it on Google. So I look it up on Google and I just type it in. I'm like, Ma, it's a resort. She's like, what? It's a resort. And then we looked at it. It was like, no way. They took the land and made it into a tourist area.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Shit is nuts. For me,
It's
I'm
not.
not sure as much about my heritage, bro. My dad wasn't the biggest talker. He passed away a couple years ago. I know, my family members, they've been in Puerto Rico for a long time. They're still there today. A lot of them are in Arizona. But they, his side of the family wasn't really a talkative side of the family. So,
Mhm.
um, and I've never been the type to ask too many questions. So I actually don't know as much as I should probably. But one of these days, we'll figure out some more about the background.
The pain of serving that powers Eric to get through the day. Dude, I don't even know what happened to Eric on social media. That dude
Eric's
just,
been ghost, bro.
dude, he just disappeared, bro. Like ever since Pompeiac lost this again, or he just looked trash in his last fight, dude's just done, bro.
Eric's a legend though. He's an urban legend of Twitter at this point.
Yeah, speaking of like my family thing, like that was just my mom's side. My dad over here was like, "Yeah, we were like the third richest in Cambodia before the Khmer Rouge happened." I'm like, shut the fuck up, stop capping. I know you're a fucking capper, bro. We ain't that rich. He's like, we're the third richest. I'm like, that's bullshit. All right, I better be a fucking king when I get over there.
Fuck yeah,
Uh,
dude.
all right, enough of their little side stories. We gotta get to the main event, which is basically the title of this thumbnail. Where were we? All right,
The bacon
Ilia
lightweight belt.
Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. You talk to me about this.
I mean, we kind of all had an inclination of what could happen. I know, a lot of my buddies, can Charles Oliveira pull it off? Can he pull it off? No. And me and Nick, first round knockout, second round knockout was the play. First round knockout was plus 375. Second round knockout plus 410. As far as I'm concerned, it's okay to throw heavy on both. Round two hedges round one, and it cashed pretty easily in round one. Charles Oliveira looked good though. I got to be honest, he looked good. He was landing good shots. He bleeds easily. It's a lot of scar tissue buildup. Same with RoboCop. These guys bleed easily. It is what it is. But he landed a nice elbow on the feet. He was landing hooks of his own. It's just Ilya's younger. He's absorbed less damage. And when push came to shove, Ilya landed a power shot and he put him down with a right hook, left hook. And the first time we've seen Charles Oliveira flatline knocked out. It was very sad. And my friends were asking me, who do you want to win? I was like, I mean, obviously the fan in me, like the guy who's been watching the UFC as long as I have, I would like to see Charles win. But at the same time, I think it's better for the sport if the young undefeated featherweight champion is able to take the belt, especially in emphatic faction. In emphatic fashion, he was on his Mystic Mac. He told Charles Oliveira before the fight, I respect you, but the victory's already been won. This is mine. Um, it is he was on his Mystic Mac, man. He's making a pretty legendary run right now. He knocked out Volk, he knocked out Holloway. Now, he moved up in weight class and he took another legend. Yeah, it hurt my soul seeing him get hit. He got fucking clean, bro, and his eyes were open when he was laying on the ground, bleeding. Shit was kind of sad, but
We had some
he,
nasty knockouts tonight.
yeah,
That
bro. This
the
card was
Hyder Emil getting KO'd. When Jack Manson, he's dead. We might as well set the funeral up for him. And then Charles Oliveira got freaking smoked. Now, like, obviously it was different. Like, we all thought Ilya was gonna win. I said Ilya knockout rounds 1 or 2. That was I put in my other group chat, so that hit. And then, but I didn't expect him to get flatline like that in the first round. I thought, maybe like a TKO finish. He rocks him, drops him, and then finishes him off. But no, he put him out. He was just out. And he landed like the extra shots after. I was like, damn, bro.
I know, God. I was hoping for a TKO as well, like where he kind of like got clipped just a little bit by something to stumble, and Ilya came up with a bunch of quick shots in succession. Ref stops it. Instead, I have to see Charles staring at the lights, and
Here's my thing. I remember when he knocked out Max, I said to myself, like, I kept it quiet. On my other group chat, I just said, I hate this motherfucker, man. I can't stand this motherfucker right now, dude. I can't believe he just knocked out my boy, fucking Max Holloway. I said, I can't wait to see this motherfucker lose, man. He can't keep getting away with this. And he goes up, knocks. I mean, Charles, I'm a fan, but I'm not like, like how everybody like kind of is like a big fan of him. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people glaze him too much, in my opinion, but that's just me. But
he went on a great run though, dude. He had a really good run.
that was a
I
great
almost
run.
cried, bro. I dead ass was on the verge of tears when Ilya knocked out Max, especially because,
All right, that's a
he's
little too
avoiding.
far.
He's a
I don't know about that.
bro. And I made a lot of money on that card, bro. Ilia Topuria by knockout in rounds 3 or 4. Hamzat Chimaev by submission in round 1.
Dude, Ilya knocked out Max on my birthday. Tell me how.
I just love Max, bro. And we never seen him get hurt like that. And I was like, oh my God, he's starting to pick it up. The tide is starting to turn. Boom. Put him to sleep, bro.
Yeah, I can never doubt this man. I remember when Jabs was on Twitter saying, I'm not going to watch this fight for specific reasons. I think he just knew that Max was going to lose. But I didn't think he was going to get knocked out like that. Fucking broke my heart. I didn't cry, though, but I've never cried over a fighter, but shit.
Dude, I can get I'll be upset, especially like with Max. Obviously, I'm not crying like, oh my God, Max lost, but I was pretty upset. I'm not gonna lie, the kid in me. I've been watching Max since I was damn near a kid, and
I think the most pain I ever felt in my life for like a fighter was when Anderson Silva got knocked out by Chris Weidman.
dude, I hate it. And Chris Weidman was American too. So I've come back on that now. I like Chris Weidman a lot, but when that happened, I remember looking at my TV and I was just like, I hate this motherfucker, bro. Like I need to see redemption for fucking Anderson Silva.
You ever had a homeboy come over and then you're just like, yo, this dude's trash, bro. He ain't gonna do shit. This is the fucking goat. This is like me, he's like 16 years old talking mad shit about Chris Weidman. Dude's 9-0. Like a little casual ass fucking takes. It's like, this is Anderson Silva. He has over fucking 30 wins. This guy's inexperienced, and he just fucking flatlines Anderson Silva. And I remember just my jaw just dropped. And then my buddy in the background made it worse, just fucking laughing in my ear. Oh shit, I thought he was the GOAT. Yada yada. This and that. And I remember I went into class like 2 days later, still mad about it. Just like, dude, that did not happen. And yeah, that was the most pain I ever felt as a fan. Anderson Silva losing like that. Ever since then, I never felt that type of pain unless I was betting. Like, I remember I put money on DC to beat John Jones in the rematch. I'll never do that again. I put a lot of money on that fucking fight. And that was the last time I made that much of a big of a bet on a fight. It was like
The biggest single I've ever played, the biggest straight bet I've ever played. Usually I like to do little cheeky parlays, like 1 unit straights. Uh, but I put like $600 on um Alexa Grasso against Valentina Shevchenko in the rematch where they had a draw. And I thought she won that fight. And so I put the 600 down on it. I ended up, they avoided the bet. So they gave me the money back because of the draw. But it's crazy because we took Alexa Grasso by submission in round 4 the first fight, and we cashed like 2 bands. So I'm like, fuck yeah, Alexa Grasso, I got her 600 on her, and I've never bet that heavy on a straight play since that time. It was plus money too, so I was like, I'm gonna double up the 600. We gonna get in, get out. Um, but yeah, you got to be careful betting. Anyone who's watching, you got to be very careful because it's a turn of a tide. You lose a bet, you start chasing to get your money back. It does not end well.
it's an addiction to be honest. But
Yeah.
let's
Dude,
get to the
speaking, he says that was a big one. And when Nunes lost, bro, that night I was up like $300 and I was like,
fuck
ooh,
that
that's the
fight.
last fight. What should I do? And my boys like put all 300 on Juliana Pena. And I'm like, you're an idiot. And then she won. And she's like
Dude, I have
plus 700.
my best friend Darwin, right? When he ever has a lock or a t-shirt on of that fighter, you always bet against it, right? So I remember, dude, and he does it like the worst possible times when I think he had a Amanda Nunes t-shirt and he put like $400 on like freaking Amanda Nunes when she was like a minus 700 favorite against Pena. And fucking, and she got choked out. And I looked at him and we had this inside joke about him. You're fucking bad luck, man. I swear to fucking God.
That
Like when
shit was
Conor,
probably pain, bro.
dude, like I remember when Conor got knocked out by Dustin Poirier. Like that's when it started. I was like, dude, why'd you wear a Conor McGregor shirt? That's such bad luck. And every time he wears a T-shirt of that certain fighter, they'd lose, bro. So ever since then, every bets that we make with him is like, no, you keep him out of the circle. We literally booted him out of the group chat because we didn't want him to place bets with us. That's how bad luck he was.
Hey,
And
you
ever
gonna have
since,
to tell him. You gonna have to tell him to wear a Pantoja shirt when he fights Josh Van.
what do you guys think of the KO last night? Devastating, bro. The way Ilya's putting these guys out, bro, it's scary to be honest. Like the way he did Volk, that was bad. Did that to Max, that was bad. Especially when Max never been knocked out. And then when he did to Charles, yeah, we seen him get finished, but he never got flatlined like that before, especially in the first round. He got hit. What is it, like a 3-piece combo? Dropped him, 2 hammer fists. Freaking what's the referee's name?
Herzog? Was
Mark.
it Herzog?
No, it was Mark. Mark
Goddard.
Mark Goddard jumped in there, and then he went sipped the tea, and dude, yeah, it was a nasty KO. That might be the knockout of the year, to be honest, Ruben.
Dude, what was that fucking knockout that Korean had against Jeka Sergi?
That was
confidence.
nasty, but like you really think about it, like it's all about a popularity contest in the UFC. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to go Ilya with that one. 2 division champion, this and that, and those things play a factor. So
Yeah.
as of right now, I think Ilya has the lock for the knockout of the year, unless something crazy happens in the next 6 months. So I mean, there's a lot of fights left. So Ilya is kind of at the top right now.
Hey, Six, Tooth West, anybody who's in here, if you haven't already, drop a thumbs up on the video. You know, it helps the algorithm. We love having you guys in here. I see there's a couple more questions about some food preferences in here.
I love Bert. Honestly, the fight questions were kind of weird, but this is my type of questions. Right? As a Cambodian, what's your favorite meat with rice? Pork, chicken, steak, or rice? Or you saying rice with rice? I'm a chicken guy, bro. I actually got chicken downstairs ready to eat with rice. I'm a fat ass, bro. I just came back from the Thai festival, and like Thai and Cambodia are not really friendly right now, so everybody thinks I'm speaking Thai, and I was like, I'm Khmer, which means Cambodian. They just looked at me in disgust, like, here, just take your fucking food and go away. So I was getting like chicken with rice. I'm a chicken and rice guy. I've been that since I was a kid. Pork, I'm okay with pork. I had pork skewers today with sticky rice. That was pretty good. But I went to a Korean spot. I got some Korean fried chicken, honey garlic wings. Fire.
Gas.
Yeah. Gas. Where does a real Ilya rank all time at this KO in your opinion? I have him top 5 all time. I know this is I know the The title of the video is called "Is Ilia Topuria the GOAT?"
Yeah.
And this is why a little clickbait title, but we was gonna get to it, but that's why you had to stay tuned to the end to watch. But man, that's kind of tough to be honest because you need some guys really factor in title defenses, name, skills. Obviously he's what 17-0. He's knocked out. I mean, in his three title fights, first one he knocked out Volk, second round KO, did him bad. Not first guy to knock out Volk in the featherweight division, or beat Volk in the featherweight division. Then he knocks out Max Holloway, especially when Max came off the Justin Gaethje win, and that one was pretty impressive from Max. And then he knocks him out in the third round, being the first man to knock out Max Holloway. And then he goes up. He's like, I'm done weight cutting. He's like, I want to fight Islam. Islam ends up vacating and going to welterweight. And then he just did Charles Oliveira dirty in the first round. Do I have him as top 5 all time? Maybe if he would have knocked out Islam, I would have kind of put him in that conversation. But I just feel like he needs to do a little bit more. He needs to get more wins under his belt, He has to beat like guys like Armin, Patty, even Islam. And then maybe if he gets a super fight against McGregor, if you want to use McGregor's name to push his stardom, that's something that can happen. But he's knocked out 3 former champions last. I kind of have him like top 10 the highest I would put him. I don't know he's top 5 yet. Maybe he's like the highest would be like 7 or 8. What do you think, Mike?
If I'm thinking for the top, like my top is always included John Jones, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, GSP. After that, I got to really start looking because then I'm like, oh, who else goes in there? Is Connor in the top because of the influence he's had on the game? It's kind of similar to the Steph Curry argument in the NBA. I guess it really depends on what you're looking at in terms of like, okay, are we looking at solely title defenses? Are we looking at influence? Is it a mixture of all these things? The strength of schedule and the resume? It's hard to say. Oh yeah, Volk could be top 5. Jose Aldo's got to be up there. That's 6 names I've given off already. John Jones, GSP, Demetrius Johnson, Jose Aldo.
Hold up.
Volk.
Quick shout out to one championship fighter, Eddie Abasolo, joining us on our Instagram live. Shout out to you, Eddie. Love you.
Hey, shout out. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if I'm gonna give Ilia Topuria a placing right now, I would have to like go through and make a formal list. But I'm probably gonna say Ilia Topuria is probably top 10. I mean, he's on a historic run. He's undefeated, 17-0. He still has a lot of big matchups to make. Armin Sarukian, obviously the Paddy Pimblett rivalry. Mauricio Hoofy's calling him out. There's also, depending on whether or not he goes back down to featherweight, there's a lot of guys down there. Does he move up to welterweight, become the first guy to win 3 belts?
If he wins 3 belts,
he might be the GOAT.
He's the GOAT. I don't care, bro. If you do that at welterweight, I'm sorry, bro. Like nobody's ever done that.
Like if he follows Islam, like let's say JDM beats Islam, Ilia gets another win. Now we want to, unify that belt at 170, and Ilia Topuria beats Islam, especially if he finishes him at 170. I think he done sealed the deal on GOAT status. He doesn't have the defenses like Jones or Silva, but he's building himself quite the resume right now.
Yeah, man. Only fighter to knock out 3 champions in a row. Only undefeated fighter become double champ. That is true. Most impressive double champ wins. Only one to KO Max and Charles. Yeah, man. I'm not arguing against you. It's just these other guys, man, they built more of a reputation, through title defenses. Like Connor, is he really top 5? Like he won. He kind of did the same thing with Ilia. I mean, Ilia did what he did. Nobody's putting him top 5.
Well, that's why I say he has work because like there's guys who are really doing it for an extended period of time, and longevity, in my opinion, is definitely one of the criteria that I would use for are you the GOAT? How long were you doing it? Like John Jones saw 2 generations of fighters. Some of these guys were around for some time, and Ilia Topuria is still a baby in the game. He's 28 years old. We don't even know if he's in his prime yet. Like this motherfucker could like continue to ascend over the course of the next couple of years. He's very young, and the future is very bright for Ilia Topuria. I think it's a very realistic thing to say that he could end as the GOAT of the sport.
Mm-hmm. DC, Yeah, he's top 10 for sure, man. Like two division champion, only lost to Stipe and John Jones. So like everybody else, he was beating, bro. Like Strikeforce heavyweight Grand Prix champion, UFC lightweight heavyweight champion, UFC heavyweight champion. So yeah, he's all. I think DC deserves his top 10 spot. And then we have Volk. He says I have Volk five, Volk number 5 all time. Yeah, I can see it. Dude, honestly, I can't argue with most people's pound for pound list because everybody has a different criteria. So it's kind
Some
of tough.
people
Like,
have Khabib way up there, dude.
I mean, Khabib did maul against his opponents, but like longevity, yeah, he's 29-0. But like, come on, let's like outside of UFC, who was he really beating? If you look at his record on Tapology, you just see guys like 2-0, and he's like already like 14-0, 1-1 or whatever it is. So, I mean, John Jones is also pretty impressive because he's beating a lot of guys. Now, skill wise, I don't. Most of his wins, those guys aren't that great. I guess you can say. I mean, if you're really putting Chael Sonnen and Anthony Smith as like some of his best wins, then I don't know what to say to you.
Hey,
But
also shout out during the stream we just hit 2.7k subs. So that's awesome. Everybody who's in here watching, that's every jump is a milestone. So we appreciate everyone who's in here getting involved in the chat, throwing a like in the on the
please
video.
throw a like, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Subscribe. Follow us everywhere.
Everything
Follow us our
helps.
own personal Twitter too if you want. I don't know why
You
our
already
names
know.
aren't
Yeah, yeah.
showing.
The Twitter's the bread and butter, bro. If you're looking for all news, all heat, great content from the fighters, we got it all on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But Twitter is like I'll get on like if I'll get on like in the middle of the day, like, oh, let me see if anything new happened. Let me go check CST real quick because they got everything on there. Um, it's a solid spot to go for your mixed martial arts news. All things from UFC to the regional promotions, Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, karate
It's a
combat.
it's a lot to keep up, but I do my best to keep you guys updated. Now sometimes you just I get a little lazy to make a freaking graphic because listen, my phone gets hot, right? Make my phone gets extremely hot, and then I have to jump on the computer. Sometimes I don't feel like jumping on my computer. I just be laying in bed making these graphics half of the time. So, and then if I'm at work, I gotta sneak away. I gotta run to the bathroom, and I get in trouble at work. Phil, why are you in the bathroom so long? I gotta take a shit, man. It's not your third shit in like the last 3 hours. Yeah, man, I go hard. So a little that's what happens when I'm doing all the stuff for the social media. But yeah, shout out to Igor Severino, former. Actually, no, he wasn't former. He was on. Everybody knows who he was, right? Before he got cut from the USC, but he's in the Octagon. He's about to get a title shot against I believe it's Jack Wright, the former Cage Warriors champion. So shout out to him joining Instagram live.
Oh hell
So
yeah, dude! Igor Severino popped in.
yeah,
Hey, shout out Igor Severino. I know we gonna see you back in the UFC eventually. Keep catching those dubs. You already know the boys are rocking with you over at Combat Sports today.
listen, Igor, there's been worse things that happen in the UFC. All right, biting, yeah, it's pretty bad, but you didn't kill the man or
Yeah,
do
and
something
you were
stupid
looking pretty
outside.
damn good in that fight too. I'm not gonna lie.
So we hope to see you in the UFC soon. Get that octagon belt and come back, baby.
You
So,
already know.
6 has top 3: GSP, John Jones, and DJ. I'm not gonna argue against that one.
What do you say? DJ
Fedor,
number one, three number DJ three.
yeah, Fedor. Nothing else matters. I ain't gonna argue against you. I love Fedor. The when I found Fedor, it was on WarsawHipHop.com.
Fuck yeah,
My
dude.
boy was telling me, yeah, this is the Michael Jordan of MMA during those days. So that was pretty cool. I mean, what you think about the card overall?
Dude, overall, I mean, obviously recency comes in. Like after it ended, I was like, oh my God, this is the best card of the year. I have to like go back over and check each individual card. But based on how I'm feeling right now, I mean, we had multiple electrifying knockouts. We had the fight of the year. We had some solid high level scraps between prospects and Lima and Talbot. Pantoja with his fourth title defense, Ilia Topuria winning the vacant belt. It was a from top to bottom. Even Alvin Hines started off with amazing energy, and then we finished it off on a violent, emphatic finish. I think through and through, this card was. I have to go 10 out of 10. I mean, I have no complaints about the card. There was only one women's fight on it. I'm not hating on WMMA, but sometimes it's a little slower pace. Um, I thought it was a great card, man. How about you?
Loved it. Last couple UFC cards, pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. The UFC Atlanta was pretty rough. Baku sucked. I'm just gonna say it. It just other than the Azim Nadikov fight and Mota fight, that was spectacular. That was people saying that
That's
was
one of
fight
the
of the
best
year.
fights in recent memory too. That's already top 10 fight. I mean, it's not as high profile, but that's one of the best fights I've watched in a long time.
That was an awesome fight. What else? Keyboard Kyle bro was so Kane bro was dominant, dude. He was awesome, man. It's fortunate with his injuries in his career, but free Kane all day.
Yeah, free Kane. You already know the vibes.
Keyboard Warriors MMA. I think that's Eddie Law. I think that's the homie Eddie Law from Cage Side Press. So shout out to you, bro. Love you, man. Love what you do at Cage Side Press. I love if it's you, Eddie. I love the fact that you got to ask Canelo a question in Spanish. That was pretty cool. So shout out to you, brother.
Hell yeah. It was
But
an absolute banger, dude. I'm still hyped about it. I'm gonna be thinking about that Royval Van fight. It is Eddie, he says. Shout out to Eddie. Shout out Keyboard Warriors MMA. You already
Eddie,
know the
to be
vibes.
honest, I didn't know you could speak Spanish. I don't know if you even Spanish, to be honest. It's the last name Law. I was like, I don't know, man. I just
When you
thought he was
said
just a really I thought he was just a really tan guy from Arizona because it gets hot out there.
when you said Eddie Law, I immediately thought Eddie Hall, and I'm like, Eddie Hall is in this joint. What the?
Nah, it's the non-juice Eddie Hall.
I'm Mexican, homie.
Hey, what up, fool?
You already know the vibes. It's been an awesome stream too. I'm super happy of everybody who's still in here. Um, it's been awesome having you guys interact. Always, throwing down subs, throwing down the likes, just supporting with the chats. We appreciate all that always, y'all.
But next week's card, though, I want to get into it. I mean, I got a little bit more time,
Oh,
to be
let's
honest.
go. Let's go.
I mean, I got to pull it up real quick. I
Yeah,
might as
pull
well
that
just
bitch
read the
up.
fights. I mean, it's Towson Teixeira versus Derek Lewis, if you're excited about that one.
Heavyweight fight in the prelims was great. And Keyboard Warriors, I'll catch the next one, fellas. Subscribe. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. And you also have a great rest of your Sunday. We got a
Shout out
good
to the
week
homie
coming.
Annie Law, Keyboard Warriors MMA, and a bunch of other shows you do, bro. I don't know how many shows you got, but go watch them all, guys. Subscribe to Cage Side Press as well, too.
Let's go.
But yeah, Derek Lewis versus Towson Teixeira. That's the main event. I know a lot of people are kind of upset about this main event, but I can see why. You know what I mean? Derek Lewis, he's a name. He's popular, and Towson Teixeira, he's coming up. He's like a 6'8" heavyweight, undefeated at like 8-0, I believe. Should I pull up on the screen, right, and make it a little easier for us?
Oh, hell yeah. Might as well.
Let the guys see it too. Share the screen. We'll go with the Tapology. Yeah. Derek Lewis, 28-12. Towson Teixeira, 8-0. 6'8" heavyweight, dude. I watched this guy in LFA, and dude, he was a destroyer. And the fact that he comes into USC in his third fight or his second, and he gets a main event, I want to say, dude, this is his second fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he's getting a main event. That's how you know the UFC is desperate about pushing these guys, to be honest. So I kind of hope he wins because the heavyweight division really needs some juice to that division. Because after Tom Aspinall, right? Who was really the next contender? Cyril Gahn. Nobody's really that excited for that fight, right?
Yeah, definitely not the most excited for Cyril Gahn. He got gifted a win over Alexander Volkov, which he did not deserve by any means. Absolutely generational robbery. But yeah, Towson Teixeira is good, man. 100% finish rate, 8-0. Tall as fuck. He's gonna present some issues for Derek Lewis. Of course, they're in a risky spot here where they are putting a potential up and coming prospect against a guy who has true one punch knockout power, and obviously it's a heavyweight division. So they're risking it for him, but hopefully Towson Teixeira can get it done, get some new blood.
Towson Teixeira's got 8 finishes, bro. 7 knockouts, 1 submission. Hey man, this is what we're looking for. I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm too high on it, but it kind of gives me hope, that the heavyweight division could be great again. He's just one of those guys that you want to see get in there and just smoke a motherfucker. That's what heavyweight MMA is all about. And It's guys like him and guys like Mario Pinto. You know Mario Pinto, right? Portuguese heavyweight,
Yeah,
former
fuck yeah,
LFL
Bing
heavy,
Bong Bash.
Bing Bong Bash. That guy's amazing. His fight against Julian Lane had me a
For
little
Bong.
scared. Is it Bing Bang Bosh? What is it?
Yeah, Bing Bang. Yeah, Bing. I said Bing Bong. Bing Bang Bosh. Yeah, yeah. Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. But
Pinto's nice, bro. We need to see him back soon, as
he
well.
he kind of scared me with the Julian Lane fight. He was also fighting this card, but he came back. He woke up in the second round and just fucking Bing Bang Bosh, knocked that dude out cold, stiff. And I'm like, yo, this is what heavyweight needs, man. Heavyweight needs guys like Mario Pinto and Towson Teixeira. So I'm praying Towson Teixeira wins because he's gonna get projected into the top 5 next after because Curtis, they trying to do that. The guy against Curtis Blades didn't work out. So
Mystic Matt call right here.
yo, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Towson to share by submission.
Towson Teixeira by submission.
Maybe.
I don't know, brother. I don't know.
He has 1 sub on his record. Maybe he don't want to deal with the power of Derek Lewis. He's gonna take it to the ground, use that super long reach that he has, and lock up an arm triangle.
He actually follows us on Instagram. That's pretty cool.
Fuck yeah.
And so that's I'm rooting for him. So I'm be like, I'm gonna hit him with my Portuguese on Instagram. Yeah, congrats on your fights. You know what I mean? Yada yada. Would you love to come on to the show? We'll bring a translator. My mom's ex boyfriend's freaking Brazilian. He can help out.
Hey, this card is low key a banger, dude.
Right. Listen to this. I'm gonna name it right here. Stephen Thompson, Gabriel Bonfim to co-main event. Cool. I'm cool with the fight. I like Bonfim and I like Stephen Thompson. Well, and maybe Bonfim could get it done. You know, beating the Asian vet. Vitor Pacino, Austin Lane. Don't care really. I mean, Austin Lane. I don't know why he's still in the UFC. You know, Big Uncle was talking about that in the
It
comments.
says Dewan Lane on Google.
Who's Dewan?
Dewan Lane is what this shit says, bro.
But look, this is the real fight of the night right here. Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia. Woo!
Banger.
Come on, baby. And I'll be honest, I think Steve Garcia might get this one done, bro.
I mean, that's a tough one, bro. If he engages, if he goes into the fire with Calvin Kattar, I could see Kattar catching him with a little like counter left hook or something crazy, just a little cheeky shot. Because Steve Garcia is susceptible to getting damaged. I mean, I'm rooting for Steve Garcia because he's younger, but you know the New England Cartel. You know, I'll be rooting for Calvin Kattar out there.
What else? We got Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrier.
That's a banger.
That's a banger. Junior Taffa against Tuco Tokos. Whatever. I hope somebody gets knocked out. That's all I ask for.
Exactly.
Lauren Murphy versus Eduarda Mora.
Eduarda Mora is she's somebody that I really like a lot as a women's flyweight right now. I think she's really good, and I think she has a very high ceiling.
We got Jake Matthews, Chidi Njokuani. That's going to be a scrap. Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. I don't know too much. I know about Fatima Klein. I think former CFC champion, I believe.
Fatima Klein's pretty good.
Kennedy Njokuani. I can't pronounce it. Versus Walter Walker.
And Chui. I think it's in Zechiku. Kennedy and Zechiku. I'm excited to see him at heavyweight, bro. He looks like a killer at heavyweight.
He looks good. Volta Walker. I'm not the biggest Volta Walker fan, but if he wins, I will watch his Instagram videos because he loves to dance and party with his brother. So those are pretty entertaining. Chris Curtis, Max Griffins. It's
Chris
okay.
Curtis is fighting so Chris Curtis is going down to welterweight for this fight at 37.
Dude, he just fought today.
Who?
In the Tough Enough regional show. You didn't see that video?
No.
So it's funny enough, Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland were coaching somebody on Tough Enough tonight on a regional show. And, like the dude fucking hit the DX cross chop on him, and then like Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland ran up on him, just pretty much like jumped him in the cage.
That's pretty crazy, bro.
Let me pull it up.
I wonder if there's going to be any repercussions for that.
That's what I'm saying. They haven't said anything yet.
I mean, they gave him a relatively one of the easier fights that you can have at welterweight right now against an aging Max Griffin, who is very tough, but he is 39. Just recently lost to Michael Chiesa, so
right,
Chris Curtis probably wins that. Chris Curtis is annoying, bro. I used to like him, like when he came out and ended up beating Phil Hawes as an underdog. I was like, man, I love the way this guy fights, but he just talks too much. And I feel like he would be a guy who would annoy me in real life. Obviously, there's not much I could do about it, but
All right, I'm gonna play it right here. All right,
yeah,
let me
let me
turn on
see
the
that
volume.
joint.
So this dude's hitting the cross chop on Sean Strickland's
Wait, the DX giant?
yeah, because he choked out one of the fighters, I believe.
What the fuck, bro?
Dude, here's my favorite part of the video. Look at Sean Strickland take off his sandals. All right, you see Strickland right here? Like he
Yeah.
throws a towel. Look how he just casually takes off his sandals.
Throws
Bro,
him off and gets ready to scrap.
that's like me when I enter my house.
He looks big as shit in there, bro. What the hell? Bro looks like he's 230 pounds right now.
Who from the division can stop Topuria?
No one.
I don't see anybody at this point. I mean, what are you talking about, bro? You was talking mad shit earlier in the group
Hey,
chat.
hot take. Best chance in the division is Paddy Pimblett. After the way he did Michael Chandler, I think he has a chance against anybody in the division. I would say Mauricio Hoofy, but he's susceptible to get grappled, and he's also we've seen him knocked out before. I think that Ilia Topuria could touch his chin. He would just close the distance into boxing range and potentially be able to nullify Mauricio Hoofy's kicks. But I really think Armin obviously presents a tough fight, but I really think Paddy Pimblett presents a couple problems for Ilia Topuria. Like I said, I'm not picking him officially yet, but who's to say I might not throw on a dog who's plus 500 in a fight that I think he's live in?
I thought Mauricio Rufy had a fight already, if I'm correct.
Hoofy is cool.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure he had a fight. No, tripping. I'll check on Twitter. Somebody might have broken a fight unless Crazy Cat posted fake news again.
He calls a lot of fights though. That guy Marcel still gives him credit for some of the shit he does.
Nobody online has said anything about
I
it.
don't see anything online.
Yeah, I might have saw some fake news.
The highly anticipated rematch with James Yontop.
Dude, I just saw James Yontop fight a regional show.
Dude, he's pretty good, honestly. I mean, it sucks that he missed weight the way he did, but he's not bad. I mean, he's durable. He has hands. He got who do you got checked by? Nacho or Taco? Chris Padilla, big underdog in that fight too. He got subbed up.
Rufy hasn't fought Bobby Green and is not booked. Rufy keeps his distance. Superior shits himself. What do you think?
No, I think Tapor. I think out of if you're looking at Armin, Patty, Hoofy, I think Hoofy's the easiest fight for him there. I mean, I'm not hating on Mauricio. I just think that the way he fights, he doesn't necessarily hold his hands up very high. And if Ilia Topuria gets in close, what's he gonna do? I guess
He's been chinned before.
Yeah, he has. And you know who hasn't been chinned? Actually, low key, Ilia low key got mini chinned by Jai Herbert with a head kick. And Hoofy does like to throw head kicks. I just don't see Ilia getting caught in that manner.
Rufy, remember, and McGregor fighting. They're similar.
Yeah, he does fight similar to him.
I don't know. I mean, Rufy, like, does he get a crack at the top 15? Because it feels like they're pushing the fighting nerds.
Well, let's see. Right now, if we're looking at the top 15 in the lightweight division, Joel Alvarez, I believe, is going up to welterweight. So they're not going to give him Grant Dawson because they don't want him to get wrestle fucked. Renato Moicano coming off a loss at number 11. That's an opportunity for a highlight for Hoofy. Benoit Santini at 14, or Michael Chandler, high profile fight for the fighting nerd. I think any of those matchups make sense.
Hey, man, I like Rufy and Chandler.
Yeah, I was about to say that one. When I said that one out loud, I was like, yeah, that one sounds. Oh, he wrote it too.
Big Onk knows what's up, bro. I follow
Yeah.
Big Onk.
That one seems like it makes the most sense because Michael Chandler is the biggest name. And if you're going to finally use him to build up a prospect, I think it would be a good idea to do it for a guy who's fighting out of the hottest gym in the sport right now.
Rufy Moicano would be a good fight to climb up the rankings.
Money Moicano is a big name too. And I think that's an easier fight than Chandler, honestly.
It seems like Sean Shelby just loves the fighting nerds because, like, Gene Silva is fighting Diego Lopez is ready. Carlos Prates was getting a main event. He was getting Ian Gary already. Kyle Barallo is fighting Nasaruddin Imavov.
That's a
Paris.
bang.
I love, dude. I think I love Kyle Barajo, man. I think he can get it done. I think it might be a 5 round war, to be honest.
It's
I
gonna be a
think Kyle
close fight. I think Kyle can win though. I've been rocking with Kyle the whole time, bro.
can the Frenchman. I mean, can the will the French judges corrupt this one?
Well, Nasruddin Imam has that. He has that Dagestan blood. Are they gonna turn on him?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's such a good scrap, bro.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna be. That's like one of the best matchups to make in the UFC right now, in my opinion. They both
I,
have solid striking. They're both good grapplers. They're pretty lengthy for the division. I think
here's what
that should be a title eliminator. I think whoever wins that fight has next.
exactly. So here's what I'm proposing, and they need to have the fighting nerds on a pay per view card in Brazil. It would be a crime if they don't do that because right, if Kyle Barajo wins, right, he's gonna get the winner of DDP and Kamza, right, and then if Gene Silva beats what's his name,
Lopez.
Diego Lopez, dude, Volk and fucking Gene Silva in Brazil. Like, sure, like maybe they want to say Volk for like Australia card, but come on, man. Let's bring the Brazilians back, man. Let's make Brazilian MMA great again.
Yeah,
You gotta
main event, Volk and Silva, co-main, DDP or Hamzat versus Caio Baralho. The featured fight, Carlos Prates versus somebody else, and then throw Mauricio Hufi on there against Michael Chandler. That's a stacked main card.
you know what? Fuck it, and then have Vinicius. Load Dog open up the card too against somebody, right?
Yeah, yeah. That would
All
go
right.
crazy, man. Brazil has a lot of good prospects right now.
Which
I think
country is Topuria?
Taporia's
He's from
he's Georgian
Germany.
blood, but
So
he's
he was
from
born in Germany, and then he moved to Georgia when he was like 7, and then he moved to Spain when he was like 15.
okay. There we
And
go.
he's just a slut for every country, to be honest.
Yeah, he's bouncing around. Gene Silva and Taporia, dude. I was saying that a while back that Gene Silva's coming for that belt. Unfortunately, Taporia moved up to lightweight, but I think Gene Silva versus Taporia is an absolute banger of a fight.
Yo, keep dropping questions, man. I really like this, man. We don't really get this much traction, and you know what I mean. It's like sometimes you get like 1 or 2 guys, but you guys have been making it fun for us, dropping these comments. And honestly, we kind of try to do this every Sunday. It's more on my end because like I'm a first shift guy, so I get like super lazy. It's 10 o'clock right now, but that's because for I can do this stream just because I'm off for the week. So please, guys,
Right.
drop a like,
Hell
comment,
yeah.
subscribe, put the notifications you have to. We got Parker Porter interview coming soon with Mike, Big Mike over here,
Fuck
and
yeah,
then
dude. Parker Porter's dope.
it should be dropping. I was supposed to drop over the weekend, but I'm in my week off, so it will be
Did you
coming
watch
soon.
it?
I watched like half of it, but because my
How was
computer's
it?
kind
Was
of
it all right? I was moving with my mom all week. I came up with the questions in like an hour. I felt bad because usually I'm like super like a perfectionist. I'll sit there for like 5, 6 hours, do as much research as possible. I just didn't have that much time this time around, but I thought it went smoothly, and he was a really cool guy.
well, as long as you put good time, like you do good questions, you'll be fine. There's some guys who just ask the most generic questions. I kind
Right.
of hate those interviews.
Yeah, dude.
Uh
When I interviewed Charles Rosa, I asked him. I took a shot in the dark. I've been trying to get my. I've always wanted a fighter or whoever I'm interviewing to tell me they haven't heard that question. So I took a
yeah,
shot in the dark. I looked up the Peabody area he's
yeah.
from, and I was like, as a kid, did you ever take any field trips to the George Peabody House Museum? And he was like, fuck yeah, dude. I used to go to field trips there in school as a kid, and I'm like, let's go.
Core asked is did Islam run away from Taporia? For me, no.
No.
Just because like dude, we already knew that Islam was gonna move up. It really depended on Bilal's next fight. And then Ilia just came out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, I'm vacating the title. I can't do this weight cut anymore. There's nobody else for me in the fighting division. And when he said that, I think name value wise, because Masvidal is kind of a boring style for him. Gene Silva was in the rankings, but he was a little too far apart for Ilia for him to wait. So I don't think he avoided him. Now I remember, if I remember correctly, that Islam said yes to the fight, but Khabib was like, "No, what are you doing? No, like you don't want this fight because if you beat him, oh, he's just another featherweight that you beat, right? But
Yeah.
if he gets the belt against Charles, then now we're talking. You know what I mean? Not only did you just beat the featherweight champion, you beat the featherweight and lightweight champion. So that's more, you know, that looks better for the legacy. So
Yeah.
because That'd be sick. That'd be like, I think that's actually a great move from Khabib. Some people can call it running or whatever, but like, hey, if you beat the you can say you beat the lightweight and featherweight champion
Yeah,
at the same time.
I don't think Ilia was running from anybody. I don't think Islam's running from anybody. Those type of guys aren't the guys that strike me as I'm scared of another human being. These guys are
Yeah.
like elite, high level, world class fighters. Big Onk just blew me, dude. No UFC this weekend. I completely thought that card was this weekend. I'm sick about that.
Yeah, I just found that out too. Big on
I'm
you kind of
sick. I thought that joint was this weekend.
Mike, you don't work tomorrow, right?
No, thank God.
Right, me too.
Dude, I slept like 3 hours last night. I had to get up and be at work at 8 a.m. today. I was in there till 4. I'm dying, bro.
Yo, we was going off in the chat. Yo. I was talking reckless. I ain't gonna lie.
I know, bro. Last night, and I'm sitting there responding. I'm like, bro, I gotta go to sleep. I'm cooked.
Dude, honestly, no UFC for 2 weeks. I mean, there's a lot of fights, man. Like I said, like at Combat Sports today, we try to cover like as much fights outside the UFC as well. You know, I mean, it's boxing. I don't know if you're a big boxing guy, but there's a Netflix card with Amanda Serrano and not Amanda, yeah, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3. It's an all-female card, but it's a great card to really check out, in my opinion. Because Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano put on some of the greatest boxing fights I've ever seen. I don't care,
Amanda
male,
got robbed in
female.
the last fight, bro. She got
There,
robbed.
dude, honestly, and there's PFL. You can watch PFL Mania, the Middle Eastern League. They have it on the app now, so it's pretty dope. Unless you're outside of the US, you can watch in the zone. I mean, yeah, you don't really know anybody, but you know, you never know who you can find on these cards, right? That's the beauty about these cards. Who else are we
Corsa's
looking at?
what's next for Corsa's what's next for Charles Oliveira? We were talking about that earlier. It's kind of hard to say what's next for him.
Dude, he has to fight the winner. I mean, loser or winner. I mean, he has to fight Max, to be honest.
Yeah, he just has to fight Max. Yeah,
Because I keep
makes
forgetting that Dustin's retiring, bro.
Yeah, that makes the most sense, honestly. Out of anything he could get, it's like a big name. Max probably won't brutalize him, so that's good.
I just get. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, I mean, it has to be Max. I mean, that's a headliner or a cold main event on a pay per view, to be honest. Speaking about fights next week, it's 4th of July in the US, so I don't know where you guys are from, but yeah, we kind of have it off. Hey, Saturday's another PFL event, PFL Europe 2 in Brussels.
It's gonna be on at like 9 in the morning, probably.
12 p.m. Eastern.
That's not bad. Oh, that's definitely what I'll be doing on Saturday then.
Hey man, just pull up your phone, watch some fights early on a Saturday, whatever. They got Taylor Lapilus.
Yeah,
he's fighting on that card against the PFL European champion Ali Talib. There's also a bantamweight tournament. Who else is on this card? Danny Roberts is actually the headliner against Patrick Harabiro. I can't pronounce his name. But yeah, you got 2 PFL cards next week. So shout out to PFL for putting those on, keeping us busy. It's a little bare knuckle next week. Damn, there really ain't much, huh? I mean, Saturday, July 5th. You got boxing, Jack Hatterall, Reed Bank. Yeah, I mean, July 5th. There's not really too much going on. I mean, if I was you guys, I would just go outside, touch grass, right? Enjoy your lives, chill with your boys, your family, your wife, your kids, whatever you got. Mike, you still there? Mike, what are you doing, Mike? What happened, brother? I think Charles will have the same end of his career as Jose Aldo. Yeah, I can see that happening, to be honest. But there's still some good fights out there for Charles Oliveira, like fun fights, really. Come on, like you wouldn't want to see him against Dan Hooker, like that's fun in my opinion. That's I mean, you could do the Gaethje rematch. I mean, we could look at the rankings right now. Like I said earlier, like there's a lot of aging lightweights in the division. Because if you look at the rankings right now, let's pull it up right here. Fucking Mike, man. This dude probably lost his internet connection. Let me zoom in on this. All right, so Charles is number 2. Dude, honestly, he could fight Gaethje. He could fight Holloway. Dustin's going to retire, supposedly. Who knows? Dustin might even win and be like, fuck this, dude. I'm going for that title. I want Topuria. Dan Hooker is a fun fight. Why not him and Gamrot? Maybe Pimblett. maybe can beat him and get the title shot. Dariush, I mean, there's a lot of fights for him. Fazeev, and there's a lot of winnable fights for him, in my opinion, and a lot of fun fights. So we'll see what happens. What else? Jake Paul won the other day, dude. To be honest, I was gonna update some this on the Twitter page, but I was just like, who could fucking cares, man? Like, nobody cares about this. His fight against Cesar Chavez Jr. Like, I'm not a fan of Chavez Jr. Don't care about him. Jake Paul, at least he called a real boxer. He called Zerto, who's the cruiserweight champion, who fought on the undercard, and not the undercard, in the co-main event. So that's something I would like to see. If he's gonna fight for a world title, I would watch that. I'm done watching him fight these wash guys. So Holly Holm won. That was sick. Love that. She won all 10 rounds. I believe it was 100 to 90. So it was a complete shutout for her first fight back in boxing after like what, 7-8 years, I think, or something like that. Big on. UFC got rid of Taylor Lapis. Totally forgot. They actually didn't get rid of him. He actually just didn't resign with them. His teammate Morgan Charrier said like, no, he was just going for the money at this point in his career. And he's like, I forgot how old he was. He's not. I don't think he's a young bantamweight as well. Taylor Lapis. Let me look up his age. 21 for wrong link. Yeah, he's 33, man. I don't think anybody's pushing him to the top. He was kind of just there for like the Paris cards and maybe some other European cards. So at least like with the PFL, like he can get projected to the top. Be right back. Mike, how you gonna leave me hanging, brother? It's all good. I got the guys in here. Let's see. Yeah. Core, will we have any events in Spain because of Topuria? I don't know. Dana's kind of weird about it. I don't know. Because like UFC is a business. I don't know if the city, whatever that they want to place it in Spain, wants to pay for the service fee or whatever it's called, the site fee. And Ilia wants it. I don't. Dude, the UFC, like, this is the thing with the UFC that pisses me off. They should be doing stadium shows, especially in Europe. Like, you could potentially have Ilia versus Patty Pimblett in the stadium. Or his mic. Mike, what the fuck happened?
I got cooked, bro. I've been using it because I got the new iPhone, so I've been using it as my camera, and my shit just overheated and died, bro. I
Let me
got,
buy you.
I got smoked.
I was just saying, like, we were just talking. I was answering Core's question. Will we have any events in Spain because it's Warrior? And I was just basically just rambling on, just saying, like, I don't get it. Why do UFC want to do it? Maybe they did, like, the whatever city in Spain doesn't want to pay for the site fee, and the fact that UFC, like, they can have the biggest fight in Europe with Patty and Ilya. But I don't think it would sell well in the US because it would be at an early time, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think that's what Ilya said. He doesn't want to fight in Spain if it's going to be at a wacky time. And Ilya said that, or Dana White said during the post-fight presser last night, it's not possible right now. But when they kept pressing the question, he's like, yes, we will go to Spain. So it's hard to say when it'll happen. I think it could be massive. Ilia Topuria certainly has some superstardom over there. When he won the featherweight belt, he walked out with the Real Madrid players, and as we know, worldwide soccer is the most, it's the biggest sport in the world, and he's out there with, some big names and
Soccer. I know Europeans are tight when you say that shit.
football. Best football
Football.
player of all time, Jaden Daniels.
Jose
Nah,
Aldo was never the same after he lost the title. Charles Oliveira is going down the same path. I wouldn't say he wasn't the same. Like, yeah, he was losing a little more often, but like, he fought some dogs, man. Max Holloway, Peter Yan, like those guys ain't no slouch. And then he kind of got it on the end of wrong too. On some of his losses, you can say he won those fights, right? I mean, when he lost against Marlon Moraes, right? Marlon Moraes, I thought Jose Aldo won that fight. And then the Zahabi fight.
the fight before that, dude, he beat Mario Batista, bro. Like that's just crazy when how they pick and choose. Like I thought he beat Mario Batista. I thought he beat Jose Aldo. I don't understand how all three judges gave round two to um fucking Zahabi. That one had me mad, bro. I'm not gonna lie. They disrespect like Jose Aldo to go out on that win against the hobby where he literally landed two soccer kicks in a round that was even. Obviously, maybe you can, argue, I guess, is a hobby winning round three, but it was a close round and both of them were near finished. So that blows me.
Yeah, I'm happy Josie Aldo retired, and majority of those fights I thought he won. So still G. Man, fuck that Marab fight though.
Yeah, that one sucked, man. Especially like Marab. Jose Aldo basically told him, he's like, yeah, I'm going to retire now. And then Marab gets on the mic and he's like, yeah, happy retirement. Jose Aldo didn't even get to say anything about it.
Yeah, UFC needs to abolish Apex and stick to international events. I'm cool with the Apex card if they say they're gonna renovate it, right? Because there's gonna be a lot more big events there. They're gonna have UFC BJJ there. They're gonna have most likely some Zuffa boxing events, most likely there. They have the UFC Fight Pass Invitational. Dana White Contender Series, tough. Just allow more fans in. Upgrade the seats, man. They need to make at least like a better atmosphere. Like One Championship does a lot of fights at the Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok, Thailand, and that's a good crowd, bro. Like I don't know what the capacity is. Let me look at it up. Because
I kind of don't mind the Apex. I like the Apex a little bit. And I know that I'm on the minority.
dude, I'm with you, bro. But like, I just feel like they can upgrade it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's to me, there's something about the intimacy of like, there's not as many fans. You can hear the corners talking. The fighters can hear the commentary. We can hear thudding shots, and it presents a much different atmosphere that I actually have always kind of enjoyed. I know that a lot of people are upset about it because they talk about how, especially with the uptick in the Dana White Contender Series signees, a lot of short notice signees, and then just, kind of using the Apex to just put out what people are considering a bullshit product. I don't necessarily agree with that. I know at the end of the day it is a business, but I personally would rather fights than no fights.
Yeah. Keep Apex for contenders, roast UFC guys. I'm cool. I'm fine with that. I want Aldo to fight Cruz Cejudo. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like, well, Aldo was talking about what I just wanted to fight the top guys, not guys who kind of like the wash side of me, like washed like him apparently. Like, let me see if I can compete with these up and coming guys, and I believe he can, and I believe he won, but the judges wasn't with him.
Yeah, they hate
Do
it.
you think? Do you think Poetan rematch will happen this year? Yes,
In Abu
I
Dhabi,
want.
probably.
Maybe Abu Dhabi because big the real big unk um is a is going to be probably headline the Abu Dhabi card in October. Usually, it could be November to be honest, depending how it plays out. December, who knows? Some people are already talking about maybe Pereira should move up to heavyweight to fight Tom Aspinall. It'll be a big fight, right? Pereira posted his weight at 240. Yeah, that's a big boy. He was a big boy at freaking middleweight, and he goes up to light heavyweight, and he's still a big boy. I think he got a little too cocky, and then he just didn't take his training serious. That's what led him to losing against Ankh. And like Ankh honestly beat him on the feet. He rocked him and everything.
I thought that fight was so close though, and I remember there was a time where they're like, you have to convincingly win to take the belt, and now it's like the tit for tat in a fight that has almost unscorable rounds because of the lack of output from either fighter, and then they're gonna reward the challenger, which is weird to me because I felt like neither of them were doing very much. Um, but at the end of the day, I think Poatan needs to, get that belt back, and if he's able to, win the light heavyweight belt back. Tom Aspinall goes out, makes easy work of Cyril Gahn, then a super fight should be on the horizon.
Magomed said Alex doesn't want to fight him until next year, which means Olberg versus Magomed. Dude, honestly, that fight does not move me at all. Olberg versus Magomed. I
Right.
don't know. To be honest, most fights in light heavyweight don't move me. Like I feel like a lot of guys don't have character in that division. Everybody's just kind of boring. Don't really say much. Khalil is pretty cool, I guess. He's kind of the guy that kind of embraces the Muay Thai culture. So I guess that's his character, right? Yuri's just a badass. Love Yuri. Jamal Hill's probably the most hated in the division. Who's that? Yuri?
Title
Can't think.
run starts now.
Dude, stop. Honestly, dude, they're pushing that Chinese guy.
Well, he has aura. If anyone in the division has aura, it's this guy who's flatlining everybody in the first round.
And it was the craziest part. The co-main event is Aljamain Sterling and Brian Ortega.
I kind of like that. That's kind of a banger.
And putting that shit in fucking China though, that shit don't make sense. I'm like,
Like,
dude, like,
is Song Yadong on that card or not?
nah. I seen somebody posting fake news. It was like Rob Font and Song Yadong is gonna fight, but that was concurrent fake.
Damn, that would have been a good matchup.
Not much. I see Jack, my homie Jack, just texted me. Let me tell his bitch ass to join up.
Oh, we got another like on there. Definitely the likes are always appreciated. A couple YouTubers that I talk to who are slowly climbing, they always, remind me like, yeah, just make sure you tell these motherfuckers to like that joint because then it pops up in the algorithm. So people are looking up MMA stuff. They see us streaming, pop in here, throw a like, throw a comment. We're very interactive, as you guys know. We love talking to you all, and it's fun. We
Yeah,
love talking fights. We love talking all things MMA.
yeah. Speaking of like other sports and stuff like that, I got a kickboxing podcast now on here with my homie Rush Hour and Skate. We're trying to do that a little more often, but Skate's in Australia on vacation, so maybe I'll do one with Rush. We'll see what happens. And then we got interviews always dropping, dude. Like we got a lot of guys from One Championship, trying to get more guys from BKFC and other promotions. Got the homie Josh, fucking getting every regional fighter he can interview. The dude can bust out like 5 interviews per week, no problem.
Yeah, he's a workhorse.
Yeah, I give him mad props. He's kind of like inspired me to like do more on the page and stuff. Help grow the YouTube. So when you guys are in this on this comment section, it helps us a lot because it makes us want to talk to you guys. Sometimes it's tough talking to like nobody in the crowd. But we got to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Hey, I remember the first time I went live by myself. So usually it's either me and you or me and Nick. I don't mind going by myself, but the first time I ever did it, it was nobody, not even any of the homies. It was just me and that doesn't matter to me, but the first time it happened, I was like finding myself like and then I'm like now thinking like what should I be saying? Am I talking too much? Should I be pausing? And then I'm like, nah. As time goes on, obviously it doesn't matter. The more we post, the more we go live, the more the engagement will come and we'll grow the follower base for Combat Sports Today. The mission is always keeping everybody notified on what's going on in all things combat sports. We love this shit.
They put Ray Saruya in the Road to UFC semifinals. Honestly, I kind of love it. Like, I think they need to build up those Road to UFC cards, bring more attention to those cards. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see like guys not ranked on those type of cards. We need to make these Road to UFC cards fun to watch. I actually like the move, to be honest. Core says Janton. What is that? Isn't that Janton's not middle name, nickname? I'm not saying that shit. Versus Tom.
Yeah.
Does the Brazilian stand a chance? No.
No.
I'm sorry. There's just a lot of heavyweights I just don't see freaking beating Tom Aspinall right now, unless it's like.
I mean,
Francis
the best
Ngannou.
guy, in my opinion, the best guy is Alexander Volkov, who he already beat.
And he smoked him too.
Yeah,
Smoked him
bro,
bad.
fast, bro. And that's what I think he's gonna do to Cyril Gahn. He's gonna get him down and probably submit him pretty quickly. Maybe he'll show that he can knock him out on the feet, but Tom Aspinall likes to finish fights early, and I feel like he's gonna take his easiest path to victory, which would be, I'm gonna assume, some sort of blast double onto the ground, and then probably a choke or maybe some sort of a Kimura or something, because
Mhm.
he's got a lot of leverage. Tom Aspinall is real good, man. I want to, if it were possible, which I don't think it is, a Francis Ngannou fight would be sick. Although Francis Ngannou is aging, he has had some out of the cage drama. He's taken some damage, especially against Anthony Joshua. But right now, we don't have much of a hope for the heavyweight division unless Poatan can come up and stir everything up by finishing Tom Aspinall. I think that might be the only thing to get John Jones to come back once he knows that
Yeah.
Aspinall's not there anymore.
He's got to deal with his cases,
Yeah, that's
UFC
why he
Abu
retired,
Dhabi.
bro. Everybody's saying he was hiding. I just think the day he retired, 4 hours later, a very, very sus charge accusation came out. So it's like, I don't, people are like, oh, he's ducking. I'm like, man, first of all, he's trolling. I don't know if he's necessarily ducking or scared of Tom, but he conveniently retired right as those charges got released.
All right, let's get to this one. UFC Abu Dhabi card, July card looking good. Yes, it is. I love that it's free. Robert Whitaker versus Rainier the Ritter, sick fight. I think Ritter might be getting the job done. He might submit Robert Whitaker. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he's gonna
Masvidal
finish
Ivalov
him.
versus Aaron Pico. Dude, Aaron Pico never got a title shot or top like a real top contender in Bellator. It's kind of insane that he's getting Movsar Evolov in the co-main event, and it's gonna be a 5-round fight. So that's fucking sick already.
Who
I
do you
want to see.
got?
Dude, I had to go Evolov.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
gonna win pretty cleanly.
yeah. Sure. Shara Magomedov versus Mark Andre Barrios. Sick fight. Maybe Shara. Maybe just outpoints him.
I think he's gonna knock Barry out, bro.
Yeah, possibly. Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. Banger fight. Love Marcus McGee. Love Peter Yan. Honestly, I'm surprised this fight's not 5 rounds. Yeah, this is probably one of the actually this is really a really fucking good card, to be
Dude,
honest.
Piotr Jan is out of anybody in bantamweight right now. I feel like Piotr Jan has one of the most realistic chances at getting it done against Marab. Although Marab put the most incredible pace I've ever seen anyone put on in a fight ever was him against Piotr Jan. I want Piotr Jan to have that belt back so bad, bro.
Let's see. Bryce Mitchell, Saeed Martin Nurmagomedov, Asu Amabaya versus Ramazan Terimov. Sick fight. Nikita Krylov is Bogdan Guskov. Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha Ricci. Oh, damn. Carlos Liao versus Muslim Salikov. Damn, this card is a banger.
That's Bryce Mitchell's debut at bantamweight, I believe.
Kind of crazy, to be honest. All right, let's get to other questions. Shout out to the homie Jack McNasty MMA. Goozy beats the knees in a fight to death. You know, he's a Goozy guy, man. They're both from Minnesota. So shout out to Goozy. Shout out to Jack.
Shout out
Goozy top
Jack.
15 already? Dude, I'm down with that, bro. I
Guzzi
am
has too
down.
much dog, bro.
Goozy proved to me that he's worthy in the UFC. Dang.
Yeah,
I'd rather
he's
take him
awesome.
over fucking Waldo Cortez.
Waldo Cortez is pretty good though. Maybe we say we take him over Martin Boudet.
Martin Boudet, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't who gives a fuck. This is trash.
I like Thomas. We posted that clip of Thomas Peterson calling Martin Boudet out, and then Martin Boudet personally quoted that Combat Sports Today tweet with his own call out, which I liked. CST doing a little matchmaking.
A guy that will beat Tom is a blob heavyweight you're least expecting. Yeah, Blob Tang. You know who Blob Tang is? That's the real fucking goat.
Blob Tank,
Goozy
bring back
finished
Roy
Tom.
Nelson.
Dude, I love this, man. Goozy beats Tom, dude. America's back on top, baby.
That would be
Bring
fucking crazy.
bring back Francis, get Vadim Nemkov and more PFL guys to the UFC. Majority of the PFL guys, heavyweights, are now former UFC guys, but I am down with Vadim Nemkov. They just signed Ante Delija, the 2022 PFL champion. So that's a big signing for
He's
them.
getting old though.
He's getting old. He's not even that old, bro.
He's taking a lot of damage too, though.
I mean, to be honest, he's more entertaining than some of these guys.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's fighting Marcin Tybura. I mean, he's 34, dude. That's kind of like young for heavyweight.
Yeah, that is a little young. Marcin Tybura is a stiff test.
And he's won like what? 8 out of his last 10 fights. So, and he just knocked out somebody in his last fight outside of the PFL. He lost against Moldonasi, but that's because he got injured during the fight. But other than that, dude, he's not a bad heavyweight, I guess you can say. At least he can, 12 knockouts, 6 submissions out of 25 wins. So it's something, I guess. At least the UFC's kind of trying, right?
Right. They're doing anything they can to bring in some heavyweight talent. Vadim Nemkov would be a really awesome signing.
Do you think Pantoja should move up the pound for pound rankings? Yeah, I mean, 9's a little disrespectful. Not a little, is disrespectful. I mean, who's ahead of him? Like, right? Let me look at it.
The list you made is pretty proper. I like the list you made.
I mean, I think it makes the most sense, to be honest. If we're looking at pound for pound rankings, Islam number 1, Marab number 2, Ilia number 3, DDP number 4, Magomed Ankalaev number 5. What? Volk at number 6, JDM at number 7, Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira, and Pantoja. Dude.
JDM at 7's a little bit crazy.
I think Magomed at number 5 is crazy.
Yeah.
Big On, like, just winning the belt makes you top 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
And then, like,
I mean, he's only lost once in his professional career, I guess.
I think Volk still earns that spot on number 5 with Onk, to be honest.
Easily.
Jack, yeah, cool, I guess. You beat Bilal. But like Pantoja, like definitely deserves over majority of these guys. I mean, if you have him and Alex Pereira, I mean, I'm not mad at it, but like I think out for pound rankings, maybe Pantoja over Pereira. But then it's just, I don't know who. You know, Dana's been trying to go with the AI system he's been talking about, but it ain't working out. Tagir is flying on the radar. Do you think he'll fight for a belt soon? Yeah, I mean, at this point, right? They gave him Pantoja Kaya Sakura, so why not Tagir? I just think Tagir, like a lot of these Dagestanians, dude, they're just boring, man. They have no personality. So like the UFC is kind of like, can't really push this guy. You know what I mean? The guy's just doesn't talk as much. He doesn't talk
He's good
trash.
though, and he's a big flyweight. When we were when we were talking about it the other week, we were figuring out before Josh Van ended up stepping in on short notice for Brandon Royval. We were talking about who should Josh Van get next, and my first thing was anybody except for Tagir, just because of that wrestling upside. And we were talking about Brandon Moreno would be sick. Obviously, he went on and just beat Brandon Royval in the fight of the year.
Yeah.
Muhammad Makayev is another name too. Some of these guys, Muhammad Makayev isn't even in the UFC anymore. Him and Tagir Ulanbekov are the only ranked, like high level, world class kind of grappler style to combat Pantoja. Brandon Moreno was too. He was able to out scramble Pantoja a lot, but he didn't get the decision. And since then, as Phil points out, Pantoja's in a weight class comprised of mostly striking fighters.
If my parents are, my parents are Southern Italy, would you consider me half Italian?
I think that would make you a quarter Italian. Oh wait, no, if your mom's fully Italian, then yeah, you're Italian. You're
Yeah,
half
you're
Italian.
half Italian. Yeah, my parents are from Cambodia.
Yeah. Like my dad's parents are both Hispanic. My grandpa's name is Juan. Like that makes me
That is so fucking Spanish.
I know.
One of my boys' dad, his name's Juan. So I met so many. I mean, if there's a non-Spanish person named Juan, I don't know, man. You
Right.
just
We called him Johnny growing up. I always called him Grandpa Johnny.
imagine meeting an Asian dude named Juan.
Like shit, bro. My
Oh
name is
man.
Juan.
All right, man. I think it's time to wrap it up. We've been at it for almost 2.5 hours, man. So I
Yeah, bro.
appreciate everybody in the comments hanging out with us, man. It's been fun. Honestly, this is probably the most fun I probably had on the stream in a while. And I hope to do this every Sunday. So Mike,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta force my ass, but we gotta do it at a reasonable time because I got work in the morning and I
Bro.
appreciate my sleep more than anything.
Of course. If we can do it at like 6, 7 latest and get like a nice hour and a half, 2 hours even, or just an hour, whatever, as long as we get it earlier, obviously, because you work, I'm down every single Sunday. CST, best MMA outlet out there. McNasty MMA. Shout out
We are
the
not the
boy.
best MMA outlet. We are the best combat sports outlet out here, baby. Get it right, baby. Mike, send us out, baby.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. Like we've been saying, like, subscribe, tell your friends. If you got any homies that love combat sports today or who are just trying to get more into it, we got at the bottom of the screen, all platforms, CS Today News, everything fights, great content. We're dropping heat every single day. We're coming back next Sunday. Actually, maybe not. There's no UFC card next Sunday, but we're
Yo,
coming
we
back
might just chill
ASAP.
Saturday. Who knows?
Exactly. We might pop in. We're gonna start going live as much as possible. We're always dropping shit. We appreciate it, y'all. Like, subscribe, follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You already know the vibes. We appreciate you all.
Peace out, guys. Love y'all. Come in next time.